Hello everyone, and welcome to the second ever stream on the channel about coding. Alright, I think it's working. You should probably hear me right now. Give me a second. I hope that wasn't too loud. Let me see, let me check real quick. Alright. Can you guys hear me? Okay, yeah, okay, it works. Perfect. Alright, so today we're gonna do what? Today we're gonna, I guess, just simply look at Neovim for several hours, and I'll be answering some questions just like on the previous stream. But I remember on the previous stream some people could not connect because, of course, it was very randomly placed, I guess. I just started it randomly, just like I did right now. But anyway, let's start with the questions from the chat. Hello to everyone who just connected. What are my thoughts on Helix? Are you rewriting NVim Tracer? Wait, we'll get to this in a moment. Helix is a perfectly fine editor. I really love it. It's basically just like Neovim, but with a lot of built-in stuff. But the only reason I'm not using it personally is because with Helix, you cannot really do much in terms of plugins. And for me personally, it's pretty important because I am recording the videos in Neovim, so I have this whole like workflow configured to record audio and to make videos in Neovim. So personally for me, Helix is not a great choice, but for everyone for anyone who starts with Linux systems, for anyone who doesn't want to configure Neovim and wants a similarly powerful editor, I think Helix is a great choice. It's a great choice. It comes with a lot of themes, with a lot of plugins built in. I mean, not plugins, just features and everything. Why is Neovim so bad? Who said it's bad? Neovim is perfect, aside from several small issues. Are you rewriting NVim Tricitor? So yeah, if you guys have seen that thing on Reddit and in on GitHub, I guess, there is a recent controversy with NVim Tricitor. I'll probably not get into it much because I'm not a plugin maintainer myself. I'm simply using NVim Tricitor for highlighting, so I guess smarter people should be thinking about that. So anyway, what I have here today is my Neovim configuration in Nix. I've recently been rewriting it to be more of a Nix NVim configuration than just plain NVim configuration, because previously it has been mostly like Lua with a tiny bit of Nix added, and now I got this whole big module system that is setting up my language servers, and I have them all in several files here. Wait, let me show it. Wrap programs, Neovim, LSP. Yeah, so now I have a whole module for each of the language servers that I use. I think it's pretty neat because with regular Neovim, on non-Nix systems, the biggest issue is installing all of the other components to work with it, right? And here everything just comes built in with my Neovim. You can just do Nix run. I mean, for you it would be like GitHub, enjoyer, nixconf, Neovim, and it will just download my Neovim with language servers, with Lua language server, with Nix language server, and I also have modules for a bunch of them, like Astro right here that I use for my website, QML, Rust, very convenient. I think I'll make a video about it. Thanks for answering. Have a nice stream. Helix has a very weird mental model where you're acting on selections rather than text. Oh yeah, that's right. If you use Helix, I can straight up run Helix right now with the comma. HX. Helix. There it is. I'm not very good at using Helix, but I know that you can set color scheme with a theme command, set it to Groovebox, and boom, it's perfect. Look, perfectly fully configured Helix. Then we can open my flake.nix file. And there you have it. The key bindings are mostly Vim-like, except when you're navigating through it, I guess it selects everything right away. So if you want to delete something, you just click X, or no, not X, D, right? Yeah, X is line selection in Helix. I mean, it's a very nice editor. If it had plugin system, I would probably use it. Otherwise, for people who are just not happy with configuring your editor for days and days, you can try this out. It's very good. Thank you for showing us how to use JavaScript in a single monolith file on NixOS. My system is much more understandable now. Perfect! I see some smart people already switching to the perfect monolithic system that we discussed on April 1st. And the fun thing, you know what? Many people thought that it was a joke, like, I mean, it was a joke because it was April Fool's, but it was partially a joke, because you can actually do all of that in Nix and it will work. So everything that I've shown you, it does work. It really does run JavaScript, and you can evaluate it in pure evaluation mode. So the configuration technically works. It was like pretty crazy. It was a movement, that's right, that's right. Let's actually check it out right now. I remember I have a file with this configuration saved on the Discord server. Let me just grab it real quick. It's in uploads, I guess. Yeah, right here. Open it up. You don't see it, but I will copy it into the file you're seeing right now. Just give me a moment. Okay, so flake.nix. Okay, so this is the file that I used for testing. We can delete all of this, delete all of that. And this from.js file that I used in that video, it uses this Nix function from the Nix project that was abandoned like 4 years ago. The last commit is pretty old. But the fun thing, and you know what, this is really cool as well, because in Nix, if you didn't know, if you prepend a multi-line string with a comment and a language, it will actually use that language with tree-sitter, at least in Neovim, with a tree-sitter grammar. So if this was bash, we would write bash, and you see, it highlights it with bash. Pretty cool, right? So I'm using JavaScript, and it uses JavaScript. If we used some plugin like Otter.nvim, it would actually also show us the completion with a LSP client, but I guess that's just too much. We're not gonna do that. But otherwise, this does work. We can go ahead and save this. We can do the NixOS rebuild dry run. What's the name of the configuration? NixOS, and it will build it. It will grab JavaScript and it will evaluate it in a moment. Oh yeah, switching to JavaScript, that's perfect. Yeah guys, you all should just switch to JavaScript, because Nix is such a terrible language, no one knows how to read it. We should just all switch to JavaScript. Yeah, you see, here, and we got this fully evaluated NixOS configuration, fully working. Oh god, I have some notifications, never mind. Fully working, and we could use this for other purposes. So if we, for example, exposed this from.js function in our Flake, if we did just, I guess we could just inherit from.js. And now if we load the Flake with the Nix REPL, lf dot to load the Flake, now we have the from.js function. And look at this, we can just write from.js 5. I guess it evaluated it to null for some reason, but maybe if we did something like... maybe? Still null. Alright, I'm not sure what's going on here, but it ideally should have worked. How is your cursor animated like that? I'm using the kitty option, yeah. I've shown it on previous stream. Let me show you real quick. Here in the options of Kitty, it is called cursor trail. You can set it in Home Manager or in your regular Kitty configuration. It's this like Neovide-like cursor trail option that's available not only in your editor but also basically everywhere. You can just, I guess, do this right in your terminal everywhere. Except it doesn't work in LF, for example. In LF it doesn't work because LF does not use your cursor. But otherwise, yeah, I know some people don't like it, but I personally love it. It makes the cursor much easier to follow around. Oh, hello there. A lot of familiar faces in the chat, I see. Nice. Perfect. This is a good day. But anyways, what's wrong here? What was not working? Hello. Something is not working. Something is not working well. And why? Maybe it is because I'm doing this actually, because actually it may not be needed there because I'm not using it. Null. Why? No, it was working previous time I used it. Alright, I guess I'll figure this out later. Probably. Because ideally it should be working. Doesn't it need to be in quotes? Why would it need to be in quotes? It is in quotes. What do you mean like this? It doesn't matter like multi-line string or non-multi-line string. Try to use a return. Oh wait! Oh yeah, that's right. I'm stupid. Wait. That's right. It's because I'm interpolating it into a function. Oh god, I'm so stupid. Yeah, because previous time I've used this in the REPL, I just did something like something similar, but with a non-function thingy. And now we are using a function, so of course I'm doing it as well here. Yeah, it's working fine. And yeah, we can just return 5. We can use a normal JavaScript object like this. I guess maybe we could even do an array. Let's see. 1, 2. Yeah, we also got an array. The only thing that I could not achieve with this is using actual Nix expressions like calling packages. That was the only issue, but I guess it is also possible because Nix.js provides a library for you that can help you do all of this. So if you do like Nix.js, I don't remember how it's called. It's like Nix expression, and then you can call actual Nix expressions. But for purposes of the video that I released, it wasn't really needed. It was fun as is. And you can really also, I guess, do something like this. You have bootloader, systemd, boot enabled. You can straight up just use from.js and here return false. And this will work somehow for some reason. This is so stupid, but it works. And you can configure your system like this. Why though? Because it's funny, because it is hilarious. You should not really do this, of course, yeah. Is this Neovide? No, this is regular Kitty terminal, and I'm using the cursor trail option right here. Where is it? This one. Cursor trail equals 3 gives you this nice jumping cursor. Can we just use .js? Yeah, of course you can use .js files. You know what? To do this, all you have to do is really create a, let's say, main.js file, right? Like this. And in the main.js file, we can straight up place this, our function, boom, to this. And now let's imagine that we are in the configuration, so we are not evaluating this for several years. If we do Nix REPL, then load the flake, we got the from.js function. From.js function takes a string in my function, so we just have to do built-ins.read file, space this main.js, and boom, you see it evaluated it from the JS file. So really, in your configuration, you could easily just do, instead of doing this, you can do built-ins.read file main.js, and this will work. And the file manager, this one is Mini.files. It's one of my favorite file managers. It is awesome. It's similar to Oil.nvim, where you can kind of manipulate text right as you would do it in normal Neovim buffers. So you can, for example, do visual selection, then write some stuff. It will be prepended to all of these files. You can use Vim motions like V, E, D, or D dot to jump to dot or everything. It's just pretty cool. Can you explain LF? Yeah, of course. In the Nix repo, your evaluator for Nix, you can use several commands. I've shown them, I think, in the REPL video. You can see all of them with a colon question mark. And one of them is, of course, LF, which stands for load flake, which simply just loads your flake in the current directory. I am using dot here for current directory, but you could also do GitHub, vimjoyer, nixconf. This would also work. And it just loads the flake and adds each of the outputs to your environment. So if I got NixOS configuration right here, it will load NixOS configuration. I also have from.js here, so it will load from.js. And this syntax right here, if someone doesn't know, is basically just from.js equals from.js. So we got flake outputs, and one of the outputs is from.js. We're just writing it as inherit from.js because it's simply cleaner. Soon VTuber model for next stream. I was trying, actually, you know what? I was trying to make it jump around left and right randomly, like every couple of seconds, and there is a plugin that can do it. But unfortunately, I faced several issues where it was only jumping around every time I clicked, so I have to just figure out how to do it automatically. And I guess the next time, if we have a stream, I can probably make it jump around nicer, and it will be more entertaining than just flicking the head to the right top part of the screen. Let me read the chat real quick. So many messages, this is crazy. Yeah, so yeah, the plugin is of course not Oil.nvim, this is Mini.files, but I think I also have Oil installed. Yeah, there it is. I just prefer Mini.files because it also shows you several other directories when you open them. Here it's not that easy to see, but in normal directories, like in my Neovim configuration, I click on space E to open it. And there we have a nice preview. We got directories. If I open a directory, I go inside, and then I go here inside. It just makes way more sense to me than using Oil, where you only see one directory. And you know, I at least need some kind of previews. In Oil.nvim, I think the preview is enabled on Control P. Yeah, that's right, Control P. But still, only two panes, and I don't know, I just like it a little bit less. Oil.nvim and nvim files are pretty similar otherwise. Let me see the chat. You can use 3D model maker by taking photos from all angles. Oh yeah, that's right, that would be pretty funny, I guess. What do you think about YubiKey? You know what? The only thing I think about YubiKey is that it's expensive and I don't have enough money for it. Just kidding, but maybe if I get it one day, then I will make a video about YubiKey, because I think it would be pretty nice to see how we could use it with all of the secret management on NixOS and everything. That would be pretty fun. But anyway, let me quickly check what's happening right here. Nothing much. All right. I have 3 YubiKeys. Oh wow, that's nice. Oh, hello. Hello, Hoskins. Nice to see you too. Have you converted your Niri config into Nixlang? Yeah, of course I did. I have my Niri configuration right here. I think actually the wrapper module changed a little bit ever since I've last used it, so right now I think I'm not supposed to be using nulls here everywhere, but I'm really not sure. I have to check it out. How does your JetBrains mono have some italics in some places? I mean, it's because the font is really used by the editor, so whatever your editor supplies, it uses that, I guess. I have my Neovim configuration in wrap programs, Neovim, right here, and there I have a custom color scheme, this VJ Groovebox that if you want you can go grab on my GitHub page. It's like self-contained in one file. And here I have styles defined. So I have a function, for example, and function has style, italic, and bold. And this right here, this set with settings for colors and for style, highlights, it's later just used with the regular normal Neovim highlight commands. So, because if you didn't know, if you just do highlight, then name of the group and GUI, I guess for style you use this one. You have GUI foreground for foreground, background for background. You can set colors and styles for each of the syntax pieces in Neovim. And I just have a lot less bold and italic pieces of syntax, I guess, because it's easier to differentiate them. I guess you can also notice that I mostly don't use the white color in my color scheme, because I also think it looks a little bit nicer. The regular Groovebox color scheme has a lot of white, but I just have blue instead of white. If you don't want to wrap, try Neri Nix. Oh yeah, that's right. Like Banana is saying, you can use the Neri Nix module coming from GitHub, I guess, and then you can just use normal NixOS configuration to configure Neri. VimTuber, do you use Nix-Vim or NVF? Right now I am not using either of those, and I'm using wrapper modules. Wrapper modules, this is a really cool thing, by the way, because the current approach that I'm using is basically a spiritual successor to Nix-cats. If you know what I'm talking about, Nix-cats is like a way to configure your Neovim with Nix and have a lot of Lua and a lot of Nix and just kind of choose how much you want to have of either of those. And this one is basically like a spiritual successor of that. So I can choose to have a lot of Lua or a lot of Nix in my Neovim configuration. And I have it here. If you want to check it out, it's on github/vimtuber /nixconf in the nixconf wrap programs /neovim configuration directory. And here I have options, so it is still kind of a Nix configuration, but still a lot of stuff is in Lua. So I still have my init.lua in Lua. I have my plugins. Plugins are also configured in Lua, but they are installed with Nix. They are still installed with Nix, and my language servers are installed with Nix. My tree-setter grammars are installed with Nix, which I would say it's like a perfect middle ground between the two when you have kind of like half Nix, half Lua. So stuff that is supposed to be in Lua, you are writing in Lua. Stuff that is better off done with Nix, you are writing it with Nix. That's pretty cool, I guess. I'll probably make a video about it. What's the point of wrapping when Home Manager exists? Well, you see, the thing about Home Manager is that first, I personally have stopped using it, but not because it is a bad project or anything. It's a perfect project that everyone should at least try out. But the problem is, with Home Manager, you are kind of introducing a second module system into your configuration, and when your configuration is growing and scaling, there will be a point where you'll just... what's the point of Go Manager as wrapping? Is this what? Oh, okay, never mind. So the problem I had with Home Manager is that I was trying to separate it like mentally from NixOS a lot, because, you know, the cool thing about Home Manager is that you can use it standalone, and that's a really great feature. But the problem is, it really separates your Home Manager from NixOS, funnily. So You end up writing a home manager configuration, a NixOS configuration, and options to connect them together and make your configuration declarable, and you end up just with two systems that you have to maintain. Not sure if I am explaining it well, because as you all know, I am not very good at talking real time. I'm using a lot of connection words right here, as you can see. But it's just that with Home Manager, I felt like my configuration was scaling very fast and very chaotically. I was creating custom options, trying to connect it, using osconfig or reading Home Manager configuration from NixOS. It was just a mess. But with wrappers, I'm just defining a wrapper in one part of my Flake, and then I'm importing that wrapper somewhere in my configuration. You know, it's just very simple. It's just like having a package. Because with Home Manager, it's like you have two layers. You have Home Manager, you have NixOS, and you're thinking how you can connect the two, how you can set an option that enables hyperland and then configures hyperland and then connects it together, and maybe you have a special key binding that you want to pass from NixOS or something, and it's just a mess, you know. But with wrappers, you just have, for example, a Neri wrapper. I got it right here. It's, well, in my system, of course, it's pretty large because I have many options here, but technically it could be like 5 lines long or something. And then where I'm using it in Neri, right here probably. Yeah, so this is my whole Neri configuration in NixOS. Neri enable, Neri package equals self packages. This one is old, I need to rewrite this to newer style. Never mind this. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty simple. I think with wrappers it just feels a lot easier to work with. Are you Russian? I'm not Russian, I'm Ukrainian. Let me read the chat real quick. Hey, what do you think about QuickShell? I personally love QuickShell. QuickShell, I think, is an awesome project that really revolutionized shell making on Linux. Because before it, the best project that I would consider coming before it was AGS, so Euler's widgets with GTK, and it was pretty cool. It was a really nice project that I used to make my bar. But with QuickShell, the good thing is that you are using QML, and QML is just surprisingly easy to work with. It's just really easy to work with. I guess this just inspired many people to just get into creating widgets. I have to disable notifications because it's probably just killing the microphone. Give me a second. Boom. All right. There we have it. Дякую за чудові гайди. Будь ласка. I think QuickShell has very bad documentation, but when you get it, it's goddamn nice. I mean, the documentation-wise, it's like that with many Linux projects, really. A lot of projects have poorly written or non-existent configuration. With QuickShell, I found it that after using it for like 4 hours, just trying it out and seeing what works, it was pretty easy to get started with. Right now I have switched away from using QuickShell to using just Noctalia shell, but Noctalia shell is still using QuickShell under the hood. But if I were to create another bar for me to make a custom bar, I would probably use QuickShell again, because the syntax is really just super simple. I think I actually have my old bar somewhere in my configuration. Let me see. Oh yeah, I have it. There it is. Let me see if you see it on the stream. Yeah, you see it. Okay. So I am once again using flake parts here, using QuickShell to wrap it. And in modules, we have several modules. So just look at this. Oh no. Never mind the warnings. I guess the language server was not enabled correctly because I need to have this QuickShell directory with definitions in my QuickShell directory. But otherwise, if we ignore the underlines, the syntax is very simple. It's like compared to what you have even with Euler's this, how you call it, GTK widgets. You're not creating JavaScript objects, defining variables or everything. It's like the easiest syntax you could imagine, and the reactivity is also handled for you. If you want to reference something, you just use the ID name of the widget, and it will handle all the dependencies for you. It will do the subscribing under the hood. So if you have a variable and it updates, the widgets will also follow along and also update the state. It's very nice. VimTuber, please show us pipe operator so our configs stop looking like Lisp. I actually have a pipe operator video on the channel, and I think it was pretty nice. It was one of my favorite videos to make because I spent a lot of time trying to somehow visualize it in a way that it feels easy to understand even for beginners. But still, yet I'm not really using it in my configuration, surprisingly, because what? Because I really don't have much logic in my configuration. I am primarily just using flake parts, defining options, and that's it. And I think this is the really the part that sells flake parts for me, because previously I had a lot of logic connecting files, importing files, and throwing around packages and configurations and modules and everything. But with the dendritic pattern and with flake parts, my entire configuration is just as stupid as it could get. It's just setting options, and that's it. That's it. Have you ever used Nix for a real server? Yeah, I actually did. I was hosting Minecraft and Satisfactory on a Nix server. I was using Hetzner and Contabo. And NixOS was very easy to deploy there in both on both VPSs. Would love a video about a dendritic pattern setup step by step with your opinions. I guess the latest video, not the April Fool's one, but the one before it, is almost kind of like a full setup, but truth be told, like many people have said, it is a more complicated setup. It's not suited for all beginners. If you are using NixOS for the first time, maybe that video is not the one to start with, and many people will be better off just using NixOS and a simple home manager configuration. But for those who wanted to see it, many people asked me to see a dendritic setup. I made that video and it got very popular, probably because I used Neri and Noctalia shell on the thumbnail. It was like a trap, you know. You are going to watch a Noctalia and Neri video, and you are watching a dendritic setup video, so you are caught in NixOS ways. Do you feel limited by the longer feedback loop when iterating a config? Say Neovim config due to, in my opinion, long Nix rebuild times, or do you have any tricks to improve the speed? Oh yeah, and this is probably the thing that I'm gonna showcase in the next Neovim and Nix video, because my current configuration, drumroll, can actually update Lua real time, because I have a option right here that it was primarily inspired by MNW, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it basically allows me to load the configuration both the Nix way and the dynamic way. So with this option right here, I'm not sure if it tells you a lot, but I will explain it and I will showcase it in the video probably. I have two init Lua files right here. I have the normal one, imported the Nix way with a path. So when I'm evaluating my Neovim configuration, it uses a path to get this directory with this Lua file and everything. But I also have a second Neovim configuration that is just using a normal Lua expression to grab my home directory and import nixconf grab programs Neovim like the normal way, the Neovim way, not from the Nix store. And what this allows me to do is to have two Neovim configuration, the vimjoyer/nixconf #neovim configuration, which is a normal, great Neovim configuration using Nix that is imported fully in your Nix store and working the Nix way. It's fully wrapped and everything. You can run it, it works. But I also have Neovim Dynamic. It's a second package, and it will work on my machine because I have Neovim in this specific directory in nixconf wrap programs Neovim. But if you try to run this, it will fail because it will try to import a file that doesn't exist. But what this allows me to do is actually just edit Neovim real time, so I can open my, let's say, I don't know, colors, my color scheme. I can just nuke my color scheme, delete all of this, and then if I run Neovim Dynamic, oh, it still works for some reason. Now we just have only bad things on this stream today. As you can see, nothing is working. But regardless, it was working yesterday, so something must have broke, but otherwise it should be working. Yesterday it was working. I'll make a video about it and it will work. But if you just have two Neovim configurations, two packages, one importing the configuration this dynamic way and one importing the configuration the Nix way, you can pretty much just have two packages, and the part that is shared is of course Nix stuff. So I have my language servers, and they will not be iterated dynamically this way because they are not in Lua, they are in Nix. But this is the stuff that I rarely change, you know. This stuff is like written once and then never iterated again. I'm just enabling the LuaLS, and then LuaLS is just working. But when it comes to my, for example, video script or my VJXL script that I am changing all the time for videos, changing some stuff, adding stuff here, basically just iterating on it every video, that thing has to be changed very frequently. And if it was written with Nix, I would probably just spend way too much extra time waiting for Vim to compile, to build, or the configuration to finally start. But this way, I guess it's just a good middle ground where you have your Neovim configuration both in Nix. The Nix part is difficult to iterate, but you are just using it for what Nix is really best for. And you are using plain Lua that can be imported both dynamically and statically. And I guess that's just perfect. I'll probably make a video about it. It's just like Nix-cats, but even better. It's from the same developer, by the way. Do you have a Discord? Yeah, I have a server. You can join our Discord server if you want. I'm chatting there every day. It's in the description. Damn, you have a great voice even in live. Thank you. A lot of people were saying that I don't have a very pleasant voice. I remember when I was starting out, I had like maybe 2,000 subscribers, and there were even comments on r/nix, even though I'm not sure how that is related. r/NixOS is for NixOS, not for VimJoyer, but for some reason people were complaining even there. And it was pretty weird. Also, VimJoyer, have you seen Artemis 2 mission? I've heard about it, but I have not really watched how it went. But I guess it is very nice that it's happening finally. VimJoyer, I'm very autistic about YouTuber voices. Yours passes the test. Oh, nice. Thank you. Thank you. I have to thank you for being the person to introduce me to NixOS, using it for 1+ years, for more than 1 year. Oh, nice. That's good. Second in a year live stream, by the way. Oh yeah, last year we had 2 live streams, I'm thinking. Probably 2, right? And this year we will probably also have 2. Just kidding, we will see. If there is enough demand, if people like the streams, then we will have more streams. Right now we are at 77 concurrent viewers, which is slightly less than previous time, but I mean, I am not announcing the streams as usual because I don't want all the attention. What made you move from lossless wrappers to Nix wrapper modules? I actually still have both of them in my configuration. In Flake, as you can see, I have both wrappers and wrapper modules. The thing is, I was making that video about configuring the dendritic way, and it just happened to have more modules that were needed for that video, and it basically looks and behaves very similarly. I know that under the hood, I think it has a slightly better structure, so you have slightly more things you can do with it. And of course, for Neovim, it has a this awesome module that basically works similarly to Nix-cats. So I guess it was just because of that. But really, if you have to choose, you can go with both, and you will not have any trouble with either of those. Let me see some more comments. Does any usable typing system work for Nix? I have seen the Type Nix project, but I have not looked deeper into it yet. Well, I'm not quite sure. I think the module system types are almost sufficient. And you know, with Nix, the biggest problem is that even if you try to invent something new, the Nix packages is already using Nix for everything. So really, if people wanted to reinvent Nix and make something better or some kind of Nix with types kind of thing, then it's better off just starting with a new project, new language and everything. But otherwise, I think when you are not doing any like really deep computational logic stuff, then Nix is pretty simple. And I mean, like in my configuration, I think the only thing that I'm using logic for in my configuration is in the impermanence. Yeah, in the impermanence, I have a little bit of logic right here. Or did I? Wait, I think I removed it actually because I'm not reading Home Manager anymore. Yeah, so I was using logic in my impermanence module, but now I removed it. Now my configuration is entirely just setting options and that's it. Nice, that's great. Hey, you have 85 viewers now. Nice. Hello to everyone who just connected. We are having a nice Neovim, nice Nix stream today. Hello, I just joined. Are you still gonna review configs this stream like you said last stream? Yeah, the last time we were streaming, we were reviewing some configurations, but the problem is that first, I'm not sure if I'm really the right person to be reviewing everyone's configurations. I'm really not that great at Nix even, you know, I'm just a regular Nix user, so many people in the ecosystem are way smarter than me and making great stuff for the ecosystem. I'm just a basic user, so many configurations that I would be reviewing would be really even better than mine. But maybe later we will be reviewing some configurations on one of the next streams, though I guess it would probably happen in a more structured way than the last time when everyone was just sending configurations to Discord and I was reading them. I guess we should probably come up with some way to organize it better. VimTuber, how many hours on average does it take for you to produce a video divided into writing, research, and recording and video production animation? Let me try and show it to you. So at first, I have to, of course, come up with an idea. Coming up with an idea is easy. I'm just reading the Discord. All of my ideas come from Discord, primarily when we are chatting. So if you want to influence the videos, you should chat on Discord. So the idea, we could say 0 hours. They are coming and going very fast. Then writing usually takes me like, I'd say around 2 to 3 hours to make a basic script, but then I am of course refining it and trying to talk over the script to come up with a better version of that script, and that takes a little bit longer. So writing plus I don't know, we could call it 3 hours probably, like this. Basic writing, then writing plus when I'm editing, then I am recording the audio for the video, and that part is horrible. That takes around 6 hours, so recording 6 hours, maybe even like 7, because I'm usually recording everything on a separate day, and I have to like also wait for 2 hours for the voice to get normal for recording and everything. And then comes the editing part. Editing, of course, takes around, I don't know, maybe like 8 hours, because I am editing everything in Vim and I want the videos to look nice. Then comes, of course, the syncing part. Syncing the audio and video is like 30 minutes, no more. Thumbnail. Thumbnail is around 1 hour, I don't know, because usually the first thumbnail is never working just fine, so I have to always make at least 3 of them before I'm satisfied, really. But the problem is not all of this, but that the steps really don't come one by one, and between each of the steps I have to think about the next step and like verify the previous steps. So overall it like takes several days. I could produce videos once every 3 days, but then I would be very burned out. So I guess like 1 video a week, maybe almost 2 videos a week would be a perfect format if it was full-time, but I'm not sure if we are going full-time yet. Anyway, let me read the chat. Hey VimTuber, speaking of impermanence, were you going to make an updated, corrected video on it at some time in the future? Apologies if this has already been addressed. Yeah, of course, I'm gonna make an impermanence video, a better one than the previous one, but the problem with it is that the impermanence video was very difficult to produce and it ended up having a lot of errors, a ton of errors. So with the impermanence, I guess I'll have to probably just wait a little bit and then make it when I really have a ton of time and dedication to pull it off. Because I think my current workflow fits a lot better with the impermanence video that I would produce. Previous time I had a lot of issues with errors because the commands that I was showing were frequently slightly like filled with typos, and now I have a slightly better system to check for that, to address that. But I guess I'll make an impermanence video sooner or later. And also, yeah, it had disco, so there was just way too many places where I could mess up, and as you all know, I very frequently mess up my videos with just small typos. Even if everything is working for me, if the setup is correct, I still make typos during editing, so I just have to figure out the fixing of that part. I guess we can add fixing errors, I don't know, 2 hours, and then I'll be doing it for the rest of time, because right now I'm fixing errors as I go, and it doesn't really help. I have to set up some even better system where errors will be type checked right in the editor, because when I'm showing the code changes, I cannot really show the final result out of the box. I have to show the stages, as it progresses, as I'm adding lines. And this is a place where I am easily messing up all of the real logic. Okay, hey VimTuber, you don't have a vid on Infuse. Could you teach us its magic? I have actually not used it, so when I get to it, I'll probably make a video. Let me read more. How's life at the moment, VimTuber? I guess pretty decent, because lately the electricity has been pretty fine. It's not winter anymore. In the winter it was a lot more tough because I only had electricity for several hours a day, and it was very exhausting. Also, it was very cold, because without electricity the heating also doesn't work, so it was a very difficult winter. But right now it's overall much better. Right now it's almost fine. Are there any good resources to learn all the features of Nix? Sometimes it feels like I do one thing, but there's a language feature which makes my life easier. Yeah, and I think this is like the biggest issue with Nix. The biggest problem with learning Nix for beginners is that there's simply way too much stuff in the ecosystem. And when you're starting out, you basically just have NixOS, so you start reinventing the wheel. You start creating some crazy activation options instead of using Home Manager, or you start making aliases instead of using NH. And really, I'm not sure if it's possible to fix it without just going and reading a bunch of stuff about Nix. Not sure what to say here, but there are several like awesome Nix websites. Probably if you just write awesome Nix, let me show you. Yeah, so you have awesome Nix right here. And I guess if you just read all of this, you will then understand which tools potentially may improve your life or not. It covers a bunch of stuff, but really there's no universal solution. You just have to use the ecosystem and figure it out as you go. I would say that the primary thing that all Nix beginners, all Nix users should do is not try to overcomplicate stuff, because a lot of people come from like Arch Linux, they come from other Linux distros where it's perfectly reasonable to create a lot of custom user scripts, a lot of custom user logic to come up with really difficult stuff on your own. But with Nix, really, most of the stuff is already figured out for you, so you just have to find the right tool, and then the solution will just come to you. It will be much easier. What do you think about Flakelight? I actually have not used Flakelight much. Let's see Flakelight. It's one of the frameworks that is like Flake ports, but replaces it, and I think it uses less boilerplate. We can actually try it right now, you know. And by the way, I'm using Google Chrome primarily because it doesn't have my search history and because I have Firefox opened for the stream. So it's not because I'm a Google Chrome user, fortunately. Yeah, so Flakelight, let's try to use Flakelight and see. I'll try to give my opinion on it because I have not had a reason to even try it out. Boom. Oh. Okay, so I guess this is the most basic Flakelight flake you can have. Let's close some of the old stuff. This close, this close. What do we have here? We have dev shell, so we can Nix develop. And it will do what? It will give us a hello package. Yeah, so right out of the box you can see that Flakelight is just like Flake parts, but way easier in terms of boilerplate. And I already like it that dev shell packages is also like in its own function, so you don't have persistent, but you have a little packages function right here. I guess this maybe makes a lot more sense because with the Flake ports you have a whole submodule for per system, and I guess with Flakelight it's probably just a single simple option that uses this function. So yeah, it is very nice. I guess I should probably give it a more closer look, check how it works. It also has language specific stuff like simple Rust dev shell. Nice. Oh, cool, and I guess it also has this package, a normal Nix package way of packaging packages, of declaring packages, the call package way, if that makes sense. This is nice. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I guess because Flakelight was created, if I remember correctly, to address the Flakeport's issue with a lot of boilerplate. So yeah, this is nice. Oh yeah, I see it. The Rust package, you have Flakelight, Rust, URL, nice. Yeah, this is cool. I'm not sure if I'm gonna really switch to it because I have already promoted Flakeports a lot, and you know, Flakeports is like the go-to framework right now in the community. I guess probably. Let's see the stars. Yeah, Flakeports has 1,300 stars. This one has 400 stars, so safe to assume that most beginners are gonna look into Flakeports more, and I just want to use more of the stuff that's conventionally used by beginners just so I can explain it all better. But Flakelight is nice. I guess it's probably also worth to make a video about it later. Let's see. Oh, nice. We have 95 concurrent viewers. This is a lot more viewers than we had several minutes ago. Nice. Alright, so let me see some more questions. Vimger, do you know how to configure BTRFS subvolumes with Disco, and could you show an example? I think I have them in my NixOS configuration in the Disco file of my... Wait, it's here. There we have it. Hosts, main, disco. Yeah, so I have a BTRFS configuration for my main NixOS configuration. And to be honest, I did not write it. I just took it from my Yoga Master because I'm really bad at file systems. I have not really studied them much, but so far it has worked really well because I set it up several years ago, like 2 years ago, and it has lasted me 2 machines because I was using this NVMe Samsung drive 2 years ago on my laptop, and ever since I just moved this SSD to my new computer, new machine, new architecture. You know, it has AMD and not NVIDIA, it has AM5 instead of AM4, and it just worked perfectly fine, so it survived the move easily. And this is just one of the things that we can thank Linux and NixOS for, because with Windows this would probably be impossible, but with NixOS, you know, you just get a new computer, move your drive, boom, everything works. This is just so perfect. VimTuber not using ZFS, heartbreaking. Yeah, I know that many people like and prefer ZFS also on the server. I have to probably give it a proper learning session, you know, learn how everything works, because I know that ZFS has a lot of very nice features, and many people call it like your last file system that you will use, but I'm really just oblivious to all of that. I am not very good at file systems, so for me BTRFS is just slightly cooler than ext4, and that's why I am using it. But I have to learn all of this stuff. I'm not the master of file systems. Where is the Nushell mentions? I'm not using Nushell, I'm using Fish. But Nushell is very solid, it's a really nice shell. Nushell. No, I guess we just write no. There we have it. I've used it several times, I remember. The cool thing that I love about it is that it's cross-platform, unlike Fish, because Fish is modern, but Fish does not work on other systems, I guess, on Windows, for example. But with Nushell, it's just cool that you can take it, grab it, go to a Windows machine, also use it on a Windows machine. Not that I have a use case for it, personally, I don't have any Windows machines, but this is a good way to create a shell, I guess, in modern age. And it has these nice boxes, you can manipulate data with not text, but real data. That's very nice. Have you explained why you stopped using Home Manager? Yeah, I have explained it several minutes ago, like 30 minutes ago, but maybe I could quickly re-explain it again. Wait, didn't Fish add Windows support in 4.1? Did it? That would be crazy. Let me see. Fish Windows support. QuickShell 4.1? Maybe it did, I'm not sure, because I'm not really following Fish updates. But if it did, it's very nice. That's crazy. In the releases, I don't see any exes. I only see files. I only see the source code. So I'm not sure. Maybe it did. If it did, that would be awesome. Does anyone even use anything except PowerShell or command prompt in Windows? I'm not sure. And you know what? You can actually use PowerShell on NixOS too. You can just write comma PWSH and you have real Windows PowerShell on your computer. Except I think Windows uses a way older version than this one, but this one is real. You have PowerShell on Linux, and you can set this as your default shell. You can even wrap it with some wrapper and then make your NixOS configuration use PowerShell or something. And yeah, so if you are going for a cursed setup with JavaScript for your NixOS, why not also make PowerShell your system shell? You can do that as well. I use Git bash usually when I have to dev on Windows. I think on Windows nowadays most people just use VSL, and the best one is of course NixOS VSL. So anyway, yeah, about Home Manager, about the reason I stopped using Home Manager. So like I explained it earlier, the problem was that with Home Manager, my configuration was growing very fast and scaling very quickly, rapidly with the 2 layers that you have. You have Home Manager, you have NixOS, and they technically try to be a separate thing to each other. Home Manager only concerning itself with user stuff, NixOS only concerning itself with system stuff, and separating them was like a good thing about it, but it made my system way overcomplicated, so that's why I switched to wrappers. With wrappers, I just have a package. I have, for example, I don't know, fish, or I have my nh, and you see this is how simple my nh configuration is. It's just several lines, 10 lines of Nix code, and it is completely separated both from NixOS and from Home Manager, from anything. It's just a package, and then I'm using this package. And I guess this is just a lot simpler to think about. But the good thing about it is that if I wanted to have, for example, some options, if I wanted, for example, my NH to behave differently on different machines, I could also just, instead of wrapping the package right here, I could easily create modules for it and then reuse those modules. For example, use one module in NixOS, one module in the package. So it's still very extendable, very nice. Oh, and yeah, right, it's also much easier to iterate because instead of rebuilding Home Manager, you can just do Nix run. Where's my Neovim configuration, my Nix configuration here? NH. So you just run the command and boom, you have your specific package isolated from your entire system. It doesn't create any junk in your home directory. You can run it separately. It's just perfect. I feel like it's a much cleaner approach to managing configs. Now let's just start using Edge while we're at it. Of course we can do comma, Microsoft Edge, or how do you call it? Edge. Is it in Nix packages? I'm not sure if it's in Nix packages. Microsoft Edge, Nix packages. It is, I think it is. Microsoft Edge. Oh yeah, here it is. Microsoft Edge and wait. Okay, maybe I don't have an updated database. Nix run, Nix packages, Microsoft Edge. It's unfree, of course, that's right. Impure. And boom, we have Microsoft Edge on Linux. It only takes 10 megabytes. Probably because it uses Chromium under the hood, right? Or is it building it? Oh no, I'm not gonna build it. Never mind. If it's unfree, it won't be using Nix in the Nix index. Oh yeah, that's right. That makes sense. And I saw a question about Den, about using Vix-den. I have not used it much myself, I have not tried it, but I think some people have and they say it's very cool. So if you want, guys, we can actually try it out right now and see how it works, how it behaves. Let me just close all of the tabs that I have right here. Then we can enable the browser. Boom, and let's see in real time Vix-den GitHub. Okay. hub.com/Vix/den. Oops. There it is. Alright, so I know that it does the better dendritic pattern approach than using flake ports. It tries to solve all the issues of using flake ports. But I've personally not used it, so we can try it out right now if we find the documentation or some quick start guide. Oh, there it is. Let's see a minimal template. Nice, we have a nice wiki page here. Let's try this. How do I position it well on the stream? I'll do this. You will not see my jumpy avatar for a moment, but whatever. This is fine. Let's try it here. We will initialize this flake. And what do we have here? We have inputs below outputs. And we have then an import tree, so it's still using import tree just like with normal dendritic pattern. Whatever, evaluating modules. Let's see how the modules themselves look. All right. Oh, wow. Hosken sent 5 VimJoy gift memberships. Oh, wow, I didn't even know we have this as a feature. Thank you, that's crazy. This is crazy. How does it even work? I'm not sure how much is one membership. Oh, wow. Guys, I have no idea. I am not a good YouTube man, as you can see. But thank you, this is really cool. I guess now people who accepted the memberships can probably go and check out the early videos, I guess. I'm not sure how it works. The only issue that I have not set up any connection with YouTube, so if you want to see early videos, just let me know that you got a membership, I guess, on Discord. Just DM me, I guess. Wait, do you use your mouse or do you have Chrome extension to navigate your browser like that? I'm not using Chrome much, really. I'm using a mouse right now because I primarily use Firefox, but for a stream, I'm using Chrome because I don't have all of my search history here, all of my completions and tabs open. In Firefox, I currently have the stream open and running so I can see the comments and see everything. But anyway, so out of the box, when we go and check how den works, we have a flake parts-like structure, similar modules as you can see, and we have a separate den attribute, which I guess can help us work with the den library. Why not just have a second Firefox profile? Because I'm lazy. I can probably make a second Firefox profile, but I just open Chrome and that's it. Let's see how it works. All right. What this declares? One host aspect, provides NixOS config. Okay, so we have a NixOS configuration there, right? All right. Yeah. Okay. So we have this aspect called Igloo. It has a NixOS configuration, and that configuration doesn't have much, but it has a user. All right. And I guess this then provides primary user is probably. Okay, I really have to get into this and learn how all of this works because I kind of understand what it's trying to do, but really I have not explored it much myself, so it's hard to check right out of the box. But we have initialized the minimal template, so user aspect. So tax is a user. You have a user. Alright, so it is something very interesting. As you can see, I am just stupid. I don't understand it when looking it in the middle of the screen, of the stream. So I'll probably take a closer look at it when we are not in the middle of this. What's this cool NVim interface to navigate in the tree and preview files at the top? This is Mini.files. So Mini.files GitHub. This one. It's very nice. It's just like Oil, but in a small window, like floating style. You can dive super deep. It's not hard to learn if you're willing to dedicate some time learning functional programming. You mean NixOS or you mean the Den framework or what? Okay, anyway, back to some questions. Replying previous comment about learning Nix. Ah, okay, okay, sorry, I've just not been reading the chat. Yeah, so the stream is fake, you know. It says reading the chat and I'm not reading the chat. Just scamming you all. Anyway, about Nix-Vim. I'm not using Nix-Vim, I'm not using NVF. Right now I'm using a wrapper module for my Neovim configuration and creating options with a wrapper module. I'll probably make a video about it, so video is coming, I'll make a video, then show it to you. The only issue is that right now I want to delay it a little bit because of the tree-sitter thing, so I don't want any really, you know, ecosystem switches in the middle of making a Neovim video. If I make some big Neovim video right now and the nvim tree-sitter plugin has this crazy version switch and I have to update it like a week later, so, you know, I'll just make it a bit later. Where are you? I'm at home in Ukraine. Can you recommend Yam over Home Manager? I think yeah, of course. I'm using Yam for my home configuration. I think I don't have much stuff in it right now, but it is in my Flake somewhere. Yeah, here it is. And I'm using it for what? I'm using it for GTK, I think, somewhere. Do I? Or am I not using it for GTK? I think I may actually be doing all of the GTK stuff the Nix way, the NixOS way already. GTK settings. Oh, okay, so I have GTK in my NixOS configuration, but otherwise, the cool thing about Yam is that you are not getting the entire module system of Home Manager, and you have very simple to declare options, so if you don't need all the benefits that Home Manager provides, it is a really nice project that you can check out. And with the Yam, it's like, to declare files, you do the same thing as with Home Manager, and there are even compatibility layers that bring Home Manager options to Yam, except Yam does things a little bit better because it's newer, fresher, you know. Do you have a home server? And if so, what OS and services does it run? No, I don't have a home server because I'm not sure if I'll be in the same place that I am right now in several months. This has been a persistent situation over the last several years, you know. Just with the war and everything, I have no idea when I'm moving somewhere or if I'm staying here or if I have to, you know, just figure everything out again in several months. So I'm just not committing to building any real home machines or setting up services that I will have to then maintain or move over. So not right now, but when I'm in some more stable position, then I'll probably have some home server, make a video about it. I have never heard a Nix person talk about file-aware options propagation, like how xmodules browser firefox.nix file would auto-populate the xmodules.browser.firefox option without being explicit. Not quite sure what you mean here, maybe I'm not understanding it correctly. Oh, wait. I guess you mean... I think I understand what you mean. So you want to omit the part of xmodules browser.firefox in the xmodules browser Firefox files because the name already suggests that, right? Probably. I'm not sure about that actually, I have never thought about it, so cannot say much here, sorry. Oh god, I missed some messages. A lot of messages got here. By the way, I wanted to thank you. Now I'm using NixOS in dual boot with Arch Linux instead of my Windows, and it worked like a charm. Nice, that's good, I think, because switching to NixOS as your primary daily driver, I guess, is a very big commitment, because I remember when I first tried NixOS initially, and I actually dropped it and then returned to it later. It's really not a system that you want to commit to immediately without much prior knowledge, so gradual transition or using it as a second operating system on your computer is really the way, I guess. Right now I'm using it as a primary machine, but unless you are fully confident that you will have all of your workflow and all of the work that you have to make on NixOS, it's really a poor choice to just go full on NixOS without understanding everything beforehand. So that's nice. Have you tried Helium browser? No, I have not. I've heard about it. I think there's many nice browsers coming out, but I have not used this specific one. It's like you on Google Chromium with bundled uBlock origin, backported vertical tabs, and performance patches. That kind of sounds like something that I would use as my secondary browser. I've been using Firefox for like 5 or 6 years. Previously, I've been using Opera, but Opera just became a pretty bad browser quickly. But right now, Firefox just satisfies all of my needs. It has uBlock, it is like fast, almost, so it works, I guess. If I wanted to use some really cool browser, I would use Qt browser, but the problem with Qt browser is that it's capped to 60 FPS, and I'm not sure if they have fixed it yet. Not because of the Qt browser, of course, but because the technology under the hood just doesn't support higher refresh rates, unfortunately. I initially flashed NixOS onto my laptop because the LG Gram 16 hates booting off external devices, and the one time I miraculously got it working, the only USB my friend and I had was one with NixOS. Oh, that's a nice story, you know. Sometimes it's the craziest ways how the life can just bring you to a good operating system or to some great choice later down the line. Wait, let me just hide the browser real quick because I just noticed that you are not seeing the funny jumping character on the right. There you go. Alright, back to the questions. We are VimJoying right now. Of course, guys, you are VimJoying because we are on a VimJoy stream, the second ever stream this year. The best programming stream where we stare at Neovim for several hours and discuss the same stuff over and over again because it's fun discussing Nix stuff. I can honestly talk about Nix and Neovim for hours because I've been configuring Nix and Neovim in my free time all of this time. What's the story behind the character? The story is pretty funny because really it was just the first image I found on my system, and that's pretty much it, really. Like, when I was making a channel, I remember I was playing like Counter-Strike or whatever, and I wanted to have some avatar in the game, and I just took this Crusader logo and slapped a Vim logo on it, called it VimJoyer because it was funny, like, you know, a wordplay of enjoying and Vim, so VimJoying, I don't know. And when I was making a YouTube channel, I wanted to try to upload several videos. I just happened to have this first thing under my hand, and I just used it, and that's pretty much it. So the story behind the character is that it was just the first thing that I used. But anyway, like, the helmet thing is a little bit separate because if we are not talking about the avatar, I just really like the helmet. I had this helmet for several years. I purchased it somewhere in Germany, and I wanted to have this helmet for ever since I was a kid. I remember I was thinking, I have to get a Crusader helmet. This looks very nice. And when I finally saw it on some market, I was just not hesitating to purchase it immediately. Do you master some kind of medieval martial arts? No, unfortunately not. I'd love to give it a try if there was some kind of place where I could do it locally, but I have not really even tried to research that yet. The stream has enlightened me. VTuber doesn't stand for virtual YouTuber, it stands for VimTuber and the model. Yes, that's right. VimTubing in the VTubing stands for Vim or whatever. Are you using Nix on a job? I'm currently without a job. I have left my job several months ago, and I'm planning to get some kind of job if the YouTube doesn't scale much in the following months. So right now I'm just making videos, enjoying life after working my ass off for like 3.5 years in relatively not great conditions, you know. But I just have some time to make videos and enjoying it. Is that picture of you? Yes, this is a picture of me. I took it last year. How many years you already using NixOS? I've been using NixOS for... let's see, I guess we can even actually calculate it. We just have to open the channel and see the upload date of the first NixOS video, which was when? Which was on... where is it? Here, July 1st, 2023. So I guess I started using NixOS slightly earlier than that. I guess somewhere in the beginning of 2023 I started using NixOS. I have tried it previously, so I have probably installed it once and then failed miserably in 2022, I would say. But back then I was like an Arch user, so I just installed it, could not get my .files to reproduce, and just switched back to Arch Linux. But then I went back, so good ending. What do you think about the recent surge of vulnerabilities in software? I have actually not noticed any recent vulnerabilities because all of my news come from our Discord basically, but I guess this will probably keep happening more and more. What do you watch for entertainment? Hollywood movies, series, animated movies, animes? Yeah, of course, I watch anime and I watch YouTube. Previously, I have been watching a lot of Linux videos, but after I made a channel, I really stopped watching Linux videos much because, you know, when you are making tech and Linux videos, then you want to spice up your day with something else, you know, some other form of entertainment. So it wouldn't make much sense for me to make a video in 10 hours and then go watch Brody Robertson or something, even though he has a great channel. Config review coming this stream. No, not on this stream. I have explained it earlier that previous time it was a little bit unstructured, so I'll probably come up with some way we can have it hosted on the next stream, but not today. Have you set up OCR with Neri? I got it to work but poorly. Doesn't remove copied photo from clipboard if Tesseract fails. So you mean the recognition, the text recognition? We can actually try it out right now. Let's see. Where is my terminal that I'm using for presentation? There it is. Let's try Nix shell, Nix packages, Tesseract. And I guess we need what? We need either Grim or Slurp or both. Or at least VL clipboard, because I accidentally uninstalled VL clipboard, so I have to put it back somewhere in my NixOS configuration. Actually, we can do it right now. VL clipboard. There we have it. Because I remember last week I was editing something in Neovim and then I forgot that I removed Hyperland from my configuration, and my VL clipboard happened to be in my Hyperland configuration, so I just accidentally lost my ability to copy stuff from Neovim. That was kind of funny. Bro, what country are you from? I am from Ukraine. I am currently in Ukraine. Okay, I forgot all syntax for Tesseract. I guess we just have to pass it an image. Let's try doing this. VL paste. Okay. Nixshell, Nix packages, VL clipboard. I have not installed it yet. Image. We have an image. It probably works. Let me try. Yes, it does. All right. Tesseract. L and probably image name. I really don't remember what's the syntax for Tesseract. I tried it some time earlier to std out. So do we cat? Or do we what? Let me just quickly find it real quick. Tesseract GitHub. Tesseract GitHub. No, I think it should be grabbing images from arguments. This should work. I just found it on some web page. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm doing right now. Let's just get back to comments, because as you can see, every time I try to do something useful on the stream, I just fail. We got so many comments right here, it's crazy. Wait, let me just catch up with this. Oh wait, image PNG std out? No, something doesn't work. Something just doesn't work. I'm just doing something very stupid. Never mind. We can get back to this once I refresh my memory on Tesseract, because you all probably don't want to see me just sit here and fail with a simple command. Is your job related to computer science or Nix, or just personal passion? My previous job was in game development. I was doing C# and also a little bit of like web development, a little bit of also application development, cross-platform application development with Flutter. I've been really wearing a lot of hats on that job, but right now, like I said earlier, I'm just not doing anything and producing some Nix videos because I have a semi-vacation, which I mean, I just left the job last year. Oh, we got the command. VL paste, tesseract, std in, VL copy. Let's try this out. Something didn't happen. Okay, wait. This may work. And let me try. I'll send this to myself. It works. Everything works. I'm not sure. I got full output of the text. There it is. So I'm not sure what about Niri. You just make screenshot and then you use Tesseract to read it. VimTuber still uses packages.system alias for getting current host platform. I'm sorry guys, let's fix it. Packages.system. I'm using it in whole, what, 5 places, right? And where I think I'm also using the correct way in some places. .stdn. Okay, in 3 places. Let's just quickly fix this all together. So we grab this, we go to packages, system, use the quick fix list with Control Q, and we fix it here. We don't have config, so we grab config here. Then we fix it. No, I did not copy it. Then we fix it here. I still did not copy it. How come? Is it because I don't have VL clipboard? Config. Okay, we fix it here. Config. I know this can be done much faster with some kind of search and replace method, but there's only 5 of them, guys. This is fine. Okay, boom. Problem solved. Now I'm using the modern, great host platform.system way. This is more explicit, better, and way cooler. I know that I can use VI and then quote to select in quote. Anyway. When video on Flakelight. I guess I will probably have to take a closer look at Den and then figure out how it works. I tried to just check it quickly right now several minutes ago, but I'm not great at understanding stuff in the middle of the stream, you know. I have to just sit and read into it. When I'm talking, I don't understand much. Could you please tell me the best way to configure a setup that's resilient to offline installations? I have not actually looked into it much on NixOS, so if you need offline installation on NixOS, I guess it probably is possible. I have seen some people do it. I guess also if you have like a USB stick with your entire setup, and then you have a Nix store with all of that here, and you use that Nix store as your cache. I guess it should be possible, should be very much possible, but I have not personally tried it, so sorry. What are you using to make the VimTuber image reacting to voice? I've installed this OBS plugin. I think I have it somewhere in my NixOS configuration. OBS. Yeah, there it is. So this is my OBS configuration. Programs OBS Studio. I am using a plugin named OBS Move Transition. It allows me to add a separate layer, and this layer can have a filter. And filter can move stuff on the screen depending on the audio. So yeah, I just set it to squish it, to stretch it by the Y coordinate, and to rotate slightly. I was trying to make it a little bit more random, so the character jumps left and right, you know, but unfortunately I did not succeed, so for now it just jumps to the right section of the screen. But I guess I'll probably fix it later. How do you configure your cursor? Cursor, you mean this thing? You mean the jumpy animation? Jumpy animation is kitty. It's just an option in the kitty terminal. Cursor trail equals 3. Can you do an updated AGS/Astal video? Maybe, we will see. Lately I have been more leaning into QuickShell. Honestly, I have not really written any bars or any widgets myself, but if I go and make more videos about widgets, I could probably make an updated AGS/Astal guide, because I remember I promised it some time ago. I guess I could probably do that, but not the first thing I do. Where can I find your configs? My configs are available at github.com/vimjoyer/nixconf. You can find it there, and you can also run all of them with like Nix run, Nix package, or I mean GitHub, VimJoyer, NixConf, and then you can run my Neri, for example, or my Neovim, or anything, and I guess you can probably even edit them right away. Let's see, I'm not sure if that will work, but if we open Nix REPL, and then we do lf, GitHub, VimJoyer, NixConf, and then edit, NixOS configurations, main. I'm not sure if it will work. Okay, so yeah, it will not work. But you can just clone it. Oh yeah, and we can straight up, yeah, we can straight up use the nix edit command, of course. GitHub, VimJoyer, NixConf. I don't know, default. Okay, we cannot do this, but we probably could do it if it was providing some of this stuff. Hey, just got here, thanks for all the content. I noticed you use Nix wrapper modules and just wrappers. What's the difference between the two? So the wrapper modules Flake is basically very similar to wrappers. It uses the same logic, the same technology. I mean, not the same logic, okay, it's rewritten from scratch, but it uses the same way of wrapping program, and the syntax is very similar. But the primary difference is that wrapper modules has had a little bit more development time put into it recently, and it has slightly more modules. And the only reason that I started using it is because it had just more modules when I was releasing the previous video about wrapping stuff. So I needed a QuickShell, I mean the Noctalia shell wrapper for the video, I needed a Neri wrapper, and it just happened to be a project that supported both. So, but both of them are fine. You can really use both of them. If one is providing some module and the other doesn't, it just, you know, you can just take each of those. I just wanted to thank you for everything you do. You are awesome. If you weren't for you, I would have probably ended up in a psych ward somewhere. Love from Sweden. Thanks for kind words. What do you think of Codeberg? As for all alternatives to GitHub, I'm personally like, in this regard, I'm like a normie person because I really primarily just use GitHub, and all of the GitLabs and every other project like that, they just seem slightly less intuitive for me to navigate. But otherwise, you know, GitHub has been doing some very weird stuff lately, a lot of very strange decisions, just like how I opened GitHub several weeks ago and it said, now you have to opt out of Copilot, so if you want to opt out from your repositories getting parsed and then fed to an AI, you have to opt out, not opt into it. So, you know, crazy stuff. Crazy times we are living in. GitHub is just getting a lot of enshittification treatment lately. VimJoyer, love your NixOS videos, they help me so much. Thank you, I hope you enjoy more videos in the future. Would you recommend achieving dendritic pattern without flake parts? Writing a simple Nix module seems simple enough not to bother with flake parts. Really, if you don't have a use case for flake parts for the dendritic pattern, you don't really have to use it, you know? So, the main reason I started using flake parts is because I wanted to reference stuff from one part of my system in another part of my system. I have a package in my Neovim directory right here, and I want to reference it, for example, in some really far away place in my NixOS configuration, and have this all be, you know, like type safe and easily accessible from everywhere. That's why I use flake parts. But if your configuration is really not that big, then there's not much reason to use flake parts, especially if you are not using wrappers or not defining many packages. Really, you don't have to always use it. You don't have to like treat it as a go-to standard in the Nix ecosystem, because it's really not. You can still use a normal NixOS configuration without flake parts, without the dendritic pattern. But implementing the dendritic pattern without flake parts I don't know, like, unless you are using an established framework, I just don't see much of a reason for it. It can be a bit of an overkill for a smaller config, that's right. If you have like 20 Nix files and that's it, yeah, you don't have to go dendritic yet. I mean, not yet. If you don't want to, you don't have to do it at all. In my NixOS configuration, I have like, what, I don't know, not that many modules actually, but I have a lot of programs, and I really wanted them all to be exposed by Nix, because, you know, if we do this, if we run Nix Flake show, all of my programs are automatically exposed to the Flake through the Flake outputs, and for me this was one of the primary advantages of the dendritic pattern. I can define stuff anywhere, and then it will be exposed in the Flake. How often do you update your system? I usually do it daily. Oh, I think that doing it daily is a bit of an overkill. Honestly, I was doing it like when I was using Arch, but nowadays I really update like once a month, maybe once every 2 months. I know that it's not much, and ideally I should be updating like every couple of weeks, but honestly, you know, with NixOS, everything is so stable and well working that really updates are not an issue really. I am keeping up with Neovim, and that's it. If I don't have a reason to update, I just wait like a month, then update, and that's it. How did you learn to speak English? I watched YouTube videos and went to school. I don't know. How do you like Neovim 0.12 so far? I think it looks like a small feature release. There's not much stuff there. As compared to, for example, Neovim 0.10 or 0.11, those were huge, those were massive. But 0.12 is like, it's required, it did some good stuff, but honestly, like, it's not even really worth switching to it immediately for me. I'm not sure if I'm even using it right now. Let me see. Neovim version. Yeah, I'm still using 0.11. I know what the changes are, of course, but, you know, it's not like I'm really excited about the release. It adds the packaging stuff, the vim.pack, or how do you call that function. But, you know, I'm already using Nix for all of that. I'm using Nix to install my plugins. I'm not using Lazy, I'm using these specs right here with the wrapper modules. Try ZeliJ. Oh, I don't have much of a reason to use ZeliJ because I'm using Kitty tabs. And I can also do Kitty splits if I remember the key binding. I probably have it somewhere. Split? No. Okay, so I don't have a key binding for split. Maybe there's some default one, but otherwise I remember that ZeliJ has a lot of like visual clutter on the screen, you know. You open it and then all of your screen becomes like a Christmas tree, if you can call it that. Let me demonstrate here. This is crazy, I don't know, this looks like way too much stuff for me. I know that you can configure it to not do this, but that kind of misses the point, because if you don't want all of this, then why do you need ZeliJ? You can just use some Tmax or whatever. Referring to how migrating to NixOS can be a steep learning curve, would it be viable to main drive a Debian-based derivative with Home Manager, but still install graphics-heavy packages with Flatpak? I guess that's one way to do it, because Flatpak is really the ideal solution for graphical stuff. With Nix, you know, if you are using Nix on a non-Nix system, you have to mess with Nix.jl, with all of the other stuff to make programs even behave correctly. But really, I don't know, I'm not sure really what to tell you, because I have really, though I am saying that it's better to not take the Nix approach heads on, you know, and go and just jump into Nix and everything, I have personally still did it myself, and I have just uninstalled Arch Linux one day, installed NixOS, and then started running it. So I'm not the perfect example in this regard, right? I really just went heads on into it. But if I had to do it differently, I would probably just keep using the system that I was using before. So if for you that's Debian, then you can go with Debian and just try NixOS in the virtual machine, maybe use Home Manager for managing .files and everything. And maybe eventually just switch to NixOS full time. And the good thing about NixOS is that you can still use like DistroBox on it. So if you wanted to use your programs from Debian or from Arch Linux or from whatever you come from, right? You can still just install DistroBox and then run Debian or Arch Linux programs from DistroBox. So, you know, it's like a four step way. So first you are using some other distro, then you are using some other distro with Nix, then you are maybe using Nix with a distro box of that other distro, and then you are using Nix. Maybe this will make the transition slightly easier for beginners, but I don't know. Nix, as you know, it's just notoriously very difficult to get into. We're just all trying to make it easier for everyone else. Anyway, so what do we have in terms of statistics? We have 115 viewers, which probably already comes close to the amount we had on the previous stream, which is quite crazy actually. I think I tried Nix plus Home Manager on Ubuntu, mostly to get the bleeding edge packages for my user and some non-trivial reproducible builds. I decided to move to Arch later after that. Yeah, actually, another cool thing about Nix is that the packages are so fresh, it's crazy. Like, when you are just getting into Linux, you are conditioned to think that you choose either stability, like working system, great, everything works, but your packages are old and like featureless, I don't know. Either that, or you are living the bleeding edge and using Arch Linux and everything, your packages are fresh, but your system will break. And with NixOS, you can just casually have both. You can have really fresh packages, and also you can have a system that doesn't really break. Nix-VSL is a good option too. That's right, actually, I have tried Nix-VSL once, and it was a really good VSL option. I mean, not that I have really used VSL much, but from my experience setting up Nix-VSL, NixOS VSL was very simple. It's like basically almost just like setting up a normal NixOS system, but in the terminal of Windows. Pretty cool stuff. Let me find some more questions. The stream has been going for what? How long is it already? It's 2 hours already, guys. What the hell? I have just started it and it's 2 hours already. This is insane. I thought it was like 20 minutes. What? Okay. This is crazy. I moved my Nix packages input to stable because I was real tired of build failures. That's nice. I mean, yeah, sometimes it does happen. Fortunately, because I am, like I've said earlier, I am updating like every only 2 months or once a month. So for me, it really doesn't happen so often. If something doesn't work, if the build fails, I just wait till tomorrow and update tomorrow. But if you are updating frequently, yeah, sometimes I guess using NixOS stable could be a better choice, especially since, you know what, with NixOS you can easily mix and match packages from unstable and stable. Honestly, if I was using stable, I would probably not see a difference whatsoever, because the only packages that I want to be updated on my system are really Neovim. I don't know, maybe also like Neri to get the latest features, and still not always, right? Right now I have Neovim version 0.11 and I have not really even noticed that. So I could easily use NixOS stable, but if I wanted to use NixOS unstable packages, the specific ones, I could easily just grab them from the outputs. I went quite in depth into Nix packages with non-trivial cross-compilation setups and custom builds. Nix packages felt too big for its own sake. There's too much stuff to keep track on. I mean, that's right, yeah, of course. Nix packages is like a giant that has been building over 20 years, and I have personally probably explored like just several percent from all of the features that it provides from all of the builders, all of the cross-compilation stuff. But you know, because of this, it really acts like this crazy system that is not replicated by anything else. I'm not sure there are any projects in the wild that can achieve so much stuff that Nix packages does, you know, building a system and cross-compilation of packages. Speaking of unstable, is there a clean way to fetch modules from unstable, not only packages? I mean, yeah, if there is a module that is in Nix packages that has not been added to stable yet, you can of course just straight up grab it by grabbing Nix packages and then referencing it with a path, adding it to your configuration. I remember when like there's a piece of software called Wyvern. It's for VR gaming, you know, for streaming VR to your Oculus Quest. So I remember when the module came out, I wanted to give it a try, but I didn't want to, of course, switch my whole configuration to that specific commit hash. So what I did was added it as an input. We can do it by simply like doing this nixpackages.url equals nixpackages, except instead of this, we have this long hash with a commit version. Call it like nixpackages2, for example. Then grab it in the outputs. And then somewhere where you are importing it in your NixOS configuration, if we imagine that I had like imports here, we could just reference it by grabbing it from outputs, slash NixOS, nixpackages2, I don't know. And then there's the module path variable, and or you can just instantiate it and grab it from there. There's many ways to do it, or you can just straight up copy the commit content, you know. What do you work with? Software. I work with Vim and Nix right now because I am unemployed. I mean, I'm just making videos all day long for now. I'll probably find some job later because I'm not sure I can sustain myself on just Neovim and Nix videos. But you know, so far right now, I mean, if I am in Ukraine, it's pretty much fine. Even the coffee donations would suffice. But I'll probably have to find some job. Let me find some question in the chat. I have not been looking in the chat. Face reveal when? Oh, I don't know. Maybe someday, maybe not. We will see. I'm leaning towards saying just not and not doing any face reveal. I'm not sure. I don't really know if I want to have some real, like, you know, person face associated with the channel. On this channel, we are just talking about Nix and Vim, and you know, the helmet is just like a face of the channel, like in a mascot. I don't know if I have to, if I need to bring myself, my personality to this. I don't know. I remember talks about breaking up Nix packages slightly, but it looks like these efforts moving very slowly. You know, everything about Nix packages moves very slowly. If there is a smallest, even the smallest breaking change that happens, Nix packages can take months or years to then adapt to it. Some of the very old solutions have still stayed in Nix packages, even though the changes have been added. You know, Nix packages is just a super giant beast. You cannot really modify it as fast. Did you configure the file preview in Mini.files to not cut halfway through the screen, to not be overlaid with your avatar? Oh wow, wait, let me see. Oh yeah, it doesn't do it. I don't know why actually. In my wait, how do you call it? Mini-files. In my mini-files, I remember I wanted to make some function to make the mini-files preview be slightly bigger than it is currently, because this is, I guess this is the default way it looks. But I remember I had an issue where it was sticking out of the screen when I opened it, so there has to be some way to dynamically adjust it with the window, you know, because I'm resizing Neovim and it doesn't change size. I don't know, it's probably just not intended to be dynamically resized by developers like that. But whatever. This is not a big issue. I'm typically not really even using the preview much outside of just seeing that this file, yeah, this file is Lua, or this file is Neovim, or I mean Nix. And you know. Yo, VimTuber, make me unemployed like you. You can get unemployed very easily. You just have to go and quit your job and focus on your dreams and live like a person without money like me. I'm just kidding, of course. You should not be leaving your jobs like this. I primarily left my job because I was way overstressed with it, and it was in a different country, and it was a lot of work, a lot of pressure, really a lot of weird code-based decisions as well. So for me, it was just not worth it anymore. You're from Ukraine, I'm from Russia, and I still like you and your videos. Nice to hear. I think people from all the countries can enjoy my videos and learn Nix, because, you know, this is the language and the operating system that, you know, doesn't belong to me, and I'm just part of the community. I'm just making videos about stuff I find enjoyable, so I would not be limiting anyone from anywhere from watching my videos, of course. Let me read. Something. I think I have missed some parts of the conversation as well. Do you have any interesting projects that you are working on yourself? I guess the most interesting project really that I am working on, and that I am unfortunately probably not sharing much with anyone, is the thing that I used to make the videos. And here's like the example of it. It's the language that I use for defining the videos. This is one of the examples from like I have been testing some stuff, but I have this DSL right here, this domain specific language that I developed specifically for making videos. Primarily because what? Because Motion Canvas, the thing I use to make videos, uses JavaScript, and JavaScript is just very verbose. There is too much stuff in JavaScript that you have to look at, to write at. Like the syntax is just it feels overloaded, you know. When I was working with JavaScript, it's fine for a code base, but for a video, you know, the code has to be like almost a throwaway like code. You have to write the code for a video, make the animation move, make the code move, make the video show what you need to be shown, and that's it. It's not like meant to be refactored or anything. And for this purpose, I developed this little DSL right here. I have a grammar, I have like syntax highlighting, error messages as well. Very simple, it's written in Rust. I have it somewhere like parser 4, I don't know how. Here, yeah. Grammar. Yeah, so right here I have it. I don't have Rust language server on right now, but I've used like Rust sitter to write this simple grammar, this simple language for making videos. I may open source it later if I find some way to make it easily installable, but for now, the only reason it's not open source and not publicly available is because I would just have to write a huge multi-page guide to even explain how to install it, and I'm not even talking about explaining how to use it, because there are way too many quirks. but it does make video making process slightly more enjoyable. Like when I have to use this instead of TypeScript, of course my day gets brighter because I'm not using TypeScript, right? And yeah, that's how I make my animations. I use motion canvas. If you guys don't know, I'll show you something. I'll show you something with a browser. Let me do this real quick. Copy this. There is a project called Canvas Commons. So previously there was Motion Canvas, the project that I have been using from the start to make animations. This one, it was really nice, but it seemingly got abandoned because the last commit was last year, and on the Discord server the author is not showing any significant improvements or changes or anything, like any signs of work being done. So one of the people from the community of this project, I guess, decided to take it into their own hands and got this Canvas Commons project forked. And as you can see, it has some fresh changes. So if you wanted to start with making videos similar to how I make them, to make some nice animations, you can check out this project. It basically is just a spiritual successor with everything taken from the previous project, except I guess animations don't work in the docs. But if you went to Motion Canvas, motioncanvas.com, it no longer works. So when people were asking me how do I make the videos or whatever, I was always saying Motion Canvas, but I guess now it is not available on the website. You cannot really understand how it works. So if you want to check it out, check out Canvas Commons. It's basically just a spiritual successor of it. Yeah, VimTuber, my NixOS is kinda homeless. Yes, my NixOS is kinda homeless too. With the homeless.files. Is your motion canvas DSL public? Like I've just said, the DSL is not public, and like I've said, it's not public primarily because it would take too much time to document all of it right now. If I finally get it to the point where I am confident that I'm not gonna change it every week and it's gonna really benefit other people, then I will of course open source it. I have nothing to hide here. It's not like a proprietary real piece of software, it's just a pet project. But the only issue is that I am really changing it every week. I'm always tweaking it and seeing what works, what doesn't work. So if I released it right now, you guys would just be disappointed to see that it changes completely the next week. So I'm not sure if it's really worth uploading to the internet right now, but maybe one day, of course. The DSL is very simple. I am using three-seater Rust-seater project. And this is a really cool thing, by the way. Let me show you real quick. Open the browser. Boom. And there we have it. Google Rust-seater. So if you guys know three-seater, the project for creating highlights and for everything, for grammars, it uses JavaScript to declare the grammars. But this library right here, Rust-seater, it uses Rust. So very similar thing, but using Rust. You are declaring your grammar with Rust, and moreover, then you have structures, you have enums that you can use in Rust to straight up immediately parse and immediately read your parsed languages. So if you wanted to, if you ever wanted to make your personal programming language, try to start some pet project, make some simple DSL to give it a try, you can use this one. I really find it very simple and easy to use. Rust-seater, you install the Rust library, and then you declare a grammar with simple rules. Like it shows you how to make a simple grammar of just counting numbers and stuff. Or how do you call it? The expressions. Yeah. So it shows you a simple expression language right here on the GitHub page. And with this one, you can really just start creating languages in Rust in one place. And then you can add some more libraries like Tower LSP to have LSP or whatever. It's a really fun project. How do you know how to edit remote files across continents without delay? I don't know, don't ask me because I have never done that. What's your opinion on Proton? Proton Mail, Proton VPN? I use Proton Mail because I have a custom domain name that I use. I have vimtuber.com and my primary email. And right now I'm using Proton Mail, even though I've heard that some people really don't like it too much. But I mean, from all the evils, I feel like it's one of the lesser evils, and I don't really want to be using some no-name project for my emails, because emails are pretty important. You know, you have your government stuff there, you have your bank accounts there, and you know, I'm not like a FOSS absolutist. I don't really believe that you can achieve everything with just small open source projects and only that, and none of the proprietary stuff should ever be in your life. I am realistic, understanding that there will be a little bit of evil in your life anyway, like that. So yeah, so I'm using Proton Mail, but not Proton VPN. I don't really use VPNs much. I want to have two Nix packages in my Flake inputs and update the second one less frequently for larger stuff like Blender. How do you recommend I go about it? My config is based on Flake parts thanks to you. Oh, it's very easy to do. We can actually do it right now. Let me show you real quick, guys. So the guide on updating just one Nix package is incoming. Let's do it. Let me just quickly close all of the alter tabs. Okay, so let's imagine we have a basic flake. We have a basic flake. I will go to, let me give you a browser preview. We will go to vimjoyer.com, the best website to get your Nix stuff, on the Nix stuff button. And here we will grab a dendritic flake, or minimal flake parts flake. Yeah, let's grab a minimal flake parts flake. We have some nice hover docs here. You can try and understand how everything works. We will grab this flake parts example from vimjoyer.com. I've copied it, and we will place it right here. And now we have a basic flake, which we can imagine looks almost similar to your setup, right? To update just one Nix packages, to have just one Nix packages for your packages, we can just add Nix packages old, or Nix packages new, or Nix packages second. You can call it whatever you want. The input name is just optional. And let's say it will be 25.11, NixOS 25.11. We will pass it to the inputs, to the outputs. Oops, we're not doing it here, we are actually doing it here, right? But we have inputs, so we don't have to do it, but if we wanted to, we could do it like this. Yeah, but I'm gonna just use inputs. And now, right here, where we have packages, if you imagine this is your system, you just grab inputs, dot, I guess in this case, we're gonna just use packages.stdnv, or wait, oops, Nix packages second dot packages dot. Now for system we will use, we can just do this, packages.stdnv.host platform. How do you write it? Host platform, this long string, packages stdnv host platform, and then grab some kind of package from it. So let's say, I don't know, Vim. We have Vim. So we are taking Vim from this second input, and we can actually just also expose it like packages default. Our default package will be this. We can use it wherever in our Flake, in NixOS configuration, anywhere. And then if we do the Nix run, it will download that older Flake, older Nix packages Flake, and run Vim, I guess. Let's see. Something is wrong because it's, I guess it's probably oh, okay. Okay, never mind, I'm just stupid. Yeah, let in. We of course have to instantiate it, so Nix packages second, we will call it packages second equals, we can do legacy packages inputs Nix packages second dot legacy packages, and we have this right here, but we are doing it here. Oh, this is such a mess, whatever. We will use this. We will use this, right? This can be removed. I forgot if legacy packages come second or first. Wait. Minimal Nix flake. Yeah, packages.system. So like that, probably, right? And yeah, and we have Vim. Okay, let's iterate on this setup a little bit. So it's called legacy packages. It doesn't mean that it is really legacy. It's because packages is like another thing. Packages doesn't work like legacy packages and Nix packages. They just chose legacy packages, though I would call it something like packages, I don't know, prime or something. Ideally, the name could be changed, but it just stuck to legacy packages. It doesn't mean that it's old. This is really no different from importing, just import inputs.nix packages like this. I guess this will work just as fine, right? Or, oh yeah, but we have to define system. Yeah, you see, this is completely identical. The only difference is that in the second option we can actually pass more stuff like overlays and everything. But anyway, once you have second packages from where you are taking packages, you can do this in your NixOS configuration as well. You can use Nix flake update, and there is an update input flag. So update input completely updates only one of the inputs. You have a help command right here. The only issue is that I'm not sure if there is a way to update everything but one input. So maybe if you are doing it this way, then you'll have to specifically update your inputs manually. I mean, choose what you update, but if you don't have many inputs, that's not a problem. But imagine if you had a NixOS configuration, if you had a flake parts module, another module, you could then go ahead and let me grab one of them. Do this, so inputs. We will split right like this, create a module.nix. Imagine that this is a NixOS module that we are using. In here, you could once again just do the same structure like this, boom. Packages second equals legacy packages dot, except we can of course use stdenv packages.stdenv.host platform.system, and then grab from second packages, grab any stuff from second packages. So you could do something like packages second.vim. And this is basically the whole thing you need. I mean, to have this multi-packages setup, you can pass your packages like this, grab them from the inputs. And then for updating, you can update with this --update input, which updates a specific input. The only issue, like I've said, is that the normal one will update all the inputs, so I'm not sure if there is a way to prevent it from updating one input specifically. I'm not sure if there is even a way to do it. Maybe we will find one right now, let's see. Probably not, probably not. You know what you could do? You could actually create a second flake with that input and then only update that input there. So that would be funny, you know, you have a second flake on your system and that flake is referenced in your flake, but you know that would be a mess because of course then you are introducing your file system into your flake, and that is a mess. Or you could have a GitHub repo. You could have a GitHub repo with your second input, and you could only update that one once in a while and have it be your second Nix packages. But that, of course, I don't know. That is also a weird way to do it. Ideally, if you really want to lock one of the inputs, you can just go to your lock, find Nix packages, like ours is named Nix packages second, right? So we go to Nix packages second, and here we have the revision. So we go to our Flake, and we just replace this with the revision. We replace our branch name with the revision, and this will once again, of course, work because revision will keep our Flake not from updating this specific Nix packages input. It will only stay on this version. And if we wanted to update, we could of course update it manually or update it with the update command, but beforehand you'd have to do this. I mean, there's a million ways to achieve the same stuff on NixOS. You just have to figure out which way works for you. Okay, so while I was yapping, I have missed a lot of stuff in the chat. Let me just quickly scroll up and see what you guys have been asking, because the stream has been going for quite a long time. I guess we will probably finish soon, but not right now. We have a little bit of time yet. Hi, are you from Ukraine? It seemed to me from the voice. Yes, I am from Ukraine. Let me check more. VimTuber, how can I create a driver for my laptop? There is an existing project. It's Gigabyte laptop. For anything like that, you should really check Nix packages hardware. The repo is right here. I'll show it to you. Nix packages hardware. NixOS hardware. So this is a collection of hardware for all kinds of computers, and if something doesn't exist in NixOS hardware, there will most likely be a project that does something similar, so you just have to find a project that packages the same stuff or enables the same stuff and just take inspiration. Because just like with Nix packages, there's no universal way to package stuff. That's why we have Nix packages. So the best way is just to learn from examples, check out NixOS hardware, and just grab stuff from here. Oh yeah, and just to finish the point I was making earlier, yes, if we go ahead and, where's my terminal, and revert this to here, Nix flake dash update input. Yeah, we just have to write the name here. So we have Nix packages second. We can update input Nix packages second, and it specifically updates Nix packages second. Just like that, we can also update Nix packages, and we can even, do some scripts that do this for us. We could easily parse our inputs, maybe. I don't know. Imagine if we did the Nix instantiate command that would read inputs and then pass the names of the inputs to Nix flake update command, so we could maybe selectively update them. This is possible, I guess. There's many ways to do all of this. How do you track config using Git? It's so inconvenient to git add, commit, push every flake.log update. I mean, it's inconvenient, but you gotta do it. If you are making some changes, just make sure that you commit after you made the change. Then your tree will not be dirty tree, will not be dirty tree. And then you can have some kind of command that updates and commits for you. But I mean, I've personally survived without it. When you are not updating every week, it's fine. For my configuration, I'm using JJ. Specifically, I am primarily using JJ UI, so the front end for JJ. If you know, JJ is a Git replacement, just a better Git. So, and JJ UI is a front end for it. So when I am updating, I just click several buttons and boom, that's it. VimTuber, make a VimTuber's PNG spin during your Plymouth boot. That would be funny, but the problem is that it's so fast it would probably disappear before I could ever notice it. Alright, so what do we have here? The stream is 2 hours, 20 minutes long already. That's a lot of time. Wait. Do you have any guidance on what I asked earlier? Oh, wait, let me check what you have asked earlier. I just installed Neria Noctalia with your guide, was wondering the best way to install Home Manager alongside wrappers and Flake ports. Still fairly new to NixOS. Of course, you can check out the guide I specifically published on vimtuber.com. I'll show you real quick with the browser. Here it is. vimtuber.com. We click here, here, and here. I have, because many people have requested it. I know that the setup is really working well without Home Manager. You know, you can do everything with wrappers that you could with Home Manager, and I'm doing that. But for those people who really want to do it with Home Manager and who really want to have Home Manager in their dendritic setup, I have published the dendritic Home Manager guide on vimtuber.com. You can find it here if you go to vimtuber.com, Nix stuff, dendritic Home Manager NixOS. And here I have pretty much explained how you can do it. The setup is fairly similar. It is slightly different from the video because there's no hardware configuration to not make it more difficult, and there is also your hostname and your hostname module in the same directory. But it will pretty much work if you follow the steps and try to just get inspired from this file. I guess you will achieve a Home Manager setup with the dendritic pattern. Alright, simply make your boot 15 seconds longer by making a meaningless process that hangs systemd. Oh yeah, that's the solution, that's perfect. I should definitely do that. That's right. Good stuff, thank you. Oh yeah, and this website also, I don't know, I think I have showcased it several times in the videos. Yeah, you have hover docs, so it shows you then how to do stuff with your configuration, like with Home Manager. It tells you this is a NixOS module output, this is a home configuration output that you can use this home configuration with the Home Manager command, or you can import this module somewhere else, whatever. It just has hover docs for you guys to explore and to really understand how everything works. Do you know how to fix Noctalia IPC keybinds breaking when it updates? I guess Noctalia just has a lot of stuff going on under the hood, so the developers probably change stuff a lot. You know, there's like a million options. The last time I was making this Noctalia Neri video, I remember the JSON file was just huge. I could not imagine how difficult it is to maintain all of those options and to make all of that work. So I guess when you are working with a project of this scale, it will bound to have some big breaking changes. How do you make such an interactive website? I mean, I used Astro.js, so I used Astro.js, and the interactive hover docs part is plain JavaScript. It's just JavaScript. Nothing special. It just takes, you know, like spans and reads all of this. I mean, no, okay. It reads the syntax with the tree-sitter parser compiled to WebAssembly. So tree-sitter reads all of this, and then using queries, using tree-sitter queries, I query for stuff in the text boxes, and then I attach these little things to them. I mean, it's not a very difficult thing to do. I may showcase it in one of the future videos about tree-sitter, because I was going to make a tree-sitter video for a while now. Do you know about the Ampersand channel on YouTube? He records videos in Russian and English. Once he did a funny review of NixOS, your channel, and its review were a great start for me into the system. I have not watched that video, but I guess it's always nice when more people get into NixOS and start making NixOS videos, because this way we can have even more people get into NixOS. The more videos, the better. So if you guys want to go and make videos and take away my bread, it's very nice. I'm not gonna complain, because you know, it's NixOS will never have too many videos. We can all make 10 NixOS videos a day and people will still get confused about basic stuff like Home Manager and Flakes, because it's just very overwhelming, you know. You can use self.packages and use wrappers without dendritic or flake port. You just figure out syntax yourself, because there's no VimTuber video about it. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, without the dendritic pattern, even the stuff that I was showing previously, it is relatively similar. You just have to move some syntax stuff around, just slightly change all of that, and it will work. Because, you know, flake parts is really a very simple abstraction. It doesn't add that much stuff to flakes. It just makes your outputs be split into files, just adds some module system safety, and I guess adds per system. That's pretty much it. It's not a very simple, it's not a very complex concept to grasp, but given that flakes themselves are already very complex, you could understand why people have confusion about flake parts and everything. Hello my friend, I love your videos, I learned a lot from you. I'm making an embedded device. That is what is the safest way for me, the OEM, to enter the device instead of using hard-coded password hash? Thanks. There are several password options on NixOS. The one that I actually prefer the most is the initial password option, which then later allows us to change the password imperatively, which, you know, of course is not the best solution, because ideally we should be all using some secret management stuff. But this is a good enough solution, you know. Man configuration.nix, the initial password. Yeah, here, no. On the users. Initial password of the user. It is there somewhere. Yeah, so there's hash password. Initial, you can even use initial hash password, that's probably slightly more secure. Here, users, initial password. But I have honestly not really worked much with embedded devices, so I'm not the person to be asking about security, really. Hi there, how does your config file tree looks like? Config file tree, if we print the entire file tree, it will probably die because I have the tree-sitter parser embedded into it. But we can try doing as a tree, maybe. So we have it right here. I guess if we isolate the... Oh, no, okay, it does look fine, I guess. There's not too much stuff. So I have a flake.nix, I have a flake.log, I have a license, I have a NixOS configure directory. In the NixOS directory, I primarily have all of my NixOS modules. So ideally, with the dendritic pattern, you should be using like features and, you know, dedicated files with everything. But my configuration really does not have anything other than NixOS modules and wrap programs. So for me, this is a pretty like decent mental model to go with. I have a base directory with some options that are used by all of my modules, so like persistent and user options. These are like core modules that my system just does not work with. This has to be imported at all times. Extra stuff has yum and impermanence. Yum is currently unused, like we found out today. So, oh, I mean, because I'm using wrappers, right? And impermanence is the module that is also used in most of these options, most of these modules. And these modules are just features that I'm adding to my computers depending on whether they need them or not. I have two computers, one of them is not for gaming, one of them is for gaming, this one is for gaming. So the gaming module, for example, gets imported on this machine. Other modules, maybe not, maybe yes. And we have hosts with these two hosts. One of them is using Disco, one of them is not using Disco. This one is for my main machine, this one is for my laptop. And otherwise, everything is very simple. Then we also just have wrap programs, and that's it. Theme file has theme, parts has settings for flake parts. And there we just have my programs, which are all completely separate from NixOS and standalone, runnable with Nix run. So I guess my configuration is very simple. I tried to not overcomplicate it like even a bit, so it is very readable for someone who is getting into NixOS, into flake parts. Still, like there's basically almost no special logic like we found out today, because I thought I had some logic and impermanence, but turns out I don't. How is importing done in code? All of the importing here is done via flake parts, so all the importing is this one single function, which really could easily be replaced with import tree. This one is just like import tree but custom, you know, nothing special here. If you want, you can grab this port, it will be working in your Flake as well. It just checks if every file is a Nix module, because all of my files are Nix modules, Flake parts modules, checks for Nix extension. If it's not flake.nix to not import this file. I'm also adding a safeguard against file starting with an underscore, and then we are importing the entire tree. And the only reason I'm using this instead of import tree is because several weeks ago I just decided to try and put these two files at the top level. So if we were using import tree, we would have modules, and then inside the modules directory we would have these two directories. But I just wanted to have these two directories be at the top level because it makes me travel less time, you know. But otherwise, yeah, I guess even this functionality could be replaced with import tree. You could probably import tree, do the same thing. Because for the most part, for most examples that I have seen, you all people have import tree importing the modules directory, and that's what I have shown. But this really just removes a flake input. Not much. I mean, it's not like a real question that you have to answer for yourself. Are you going to use import tree in your NixOS configuration, or are you going to not use import tree? Really difficult decision to make. No, you can really just swap it out on the go, and your configuration will not change. You know, it's not very serious. Looks clean and nicely structured. How did you set that Neovide animation in the terminal, or is that actually Neovide? This is the Kitty option. If we go to wrap programs, Kitty, right here, we have a cursor trail option right here. This cursor trail equals 3 is an option built into Kitty, which allows you to have your terminal do this. And this doesn't only work in Neovim, like I've said earlier. If you have a command, you see it jumps. It jumps even here. You can do this. If we go up to some long command, if I have one. Okay. Yeah, here I have some ffmpeg command, as you can see. It will do this across lines. I just like how it helps you visually see how your cursor is moving. Some people don't like it, but this simple cursor trail option, you can grab it, you can find it, and it will work. Can you show how to do all of this through JavaScript? Yes, of course, we have been doing this in the beginning, actually. Yeah, when the stream just began, we had this monstrosity. We were continuing our NixOS configuration in JavaScript. But really, yeah, it was a joke, but it is possible. Everything is possible. I think with enough effort, you could actually very well configure entire NixOS with JavaScript. Moreover, you could probably configure your entire NixOS with some framework like React, I don't know, or Svelte or whatever. Because actually React, if you didn't know, guys, it's a functional thing, you know. React is not object-oriented, it's functional. So we are almost using something smart right here. We could write our NixOS configuration with React. That would be funny. Have you explored other dendritic libs like Flake Aspect, Flake File, etc.? No, I have really not. Personally, I should probably do it and then come back with a review for us, for you guys. Are you using LF or Yazi? Yes, I am primarily using LF, and it stays here in the bottom. Because what? Because I just believe LF looks a lot cleaner and it's more minimal. With Yazi, I think the interface, honestly, it looks very horrible. It's like one of the... I mean, it's not a good reason to not use a piece of software, you know, but I don't know, looking at this looks horrible, and like the search bar, it is in the middle, I don't know, it just doesn't look very good. And the worst thing is that I have found that this is not very customizable, so if you want to have a search bar be Vim-like, like in Vim, like in LF, because, you know, in LF file manager you have search bar on the bottom left, command on the bottom left, just nice and standard, how I had it for years. With Yazi, you cannot do it. With Yazi, you, for some reason, have to have this ugly box. And, I mean, for those people who use Yazi, I guess it's fine. It's a good piece of software, but I'm not gonna use it until it is more customizable and can have normal looking view. I've structured my NixOS config quite simply, configs for home manager stuff and modules for NixOS stuff. If I had another computer, I'd probably do something like modules, common host, yeah. Yeah, and about NixOS is that really, yeah, you can structure your configuration however you want. If you are using Flake parts, then it's really easy because imagine I have my configuration right here. I could take my main and place it right here and it would work. Everything would still easily work. With Flake parts, your directory structure really doesn't matter. It's one of the good advantages that Flake parts gives you. You can easily restructure your configuration directory-wise, file-wise. You can just move stuff around. It's just perfect. VimTuber, do you make custom modules for something? I did make custom modules previously before I switched to like Dendritic. Previously I had a lot of custom options, but right now I don't have many custom options. I think I use make force in several places, probably. Or I don't. Okay, so I don't even use make force. That's crazy. I mean, yeah, my setup is just very simple. It's one of the simplest setups that you could really come up with, trying to make a simple rice with Nix packages, with NixOS, with stuff that is available in the ecosystem. But yeah, as you can see, I really don't even need any custom logic, any custom options. I have options for Flake part stuff though. For example, here I have a wrapper modules option, so I'm using this one. But in NixOS, probably nothing. Keymap option is unused because I had it for Hyperland, now I'm not using it. I have a terminal option in my Niri module because I am able to select the terminal this way. If you run Nix run GitHub vimjoyer nixconf Niri, you will launch my Niri setup. So it will be Niri and it will be launching Kitty terminal like by default. But if you run my nixconf environment, it will basically do the same thing, or no, desktop, not environment, desktop. If you do desktop, it will do the same thing, except it will set this terminal option to my terminal, so it will also download like 2 gigabytes of my terminal. So it's way chunkier, but it includes extra dependencies, so I guess I have an option for that. But it could be done with modules anyway. Oh yeah, DeployRS. I should probably make a DeployRS video. I have promised it years ago, that's true, yeah. I guess like 2 years ago, probably. Thoughts on how you would integrate something like DeployRS on Calmina for fleet management or in this kind of pattern? Honestly, I have no idea. I have not explored that yet, so I have, I'm really not really a Nix expert like I've been always saying. I'm just a regular Nix user that just shares stuff that I find, shares configurations that I am building in real time, trying to explain you guys how I understand stuff. So a lot of the more complex stuff that you would think I know, I really don't. Like even the file systems, I'm pretty clueless in terms of file systems. But I do want to make a DeployRS video, so I will definitely, it's one of the topics that is really interesting to me. Just videos like these that need more thorough testing usually get delayed in favor of videos that are easier and more fun. The DeployRS video would probably not be as popular and would need a lot of effort. But some videos like, I don't know, even the Flake parts video, Flake parts video, even though it looks pretty nice, it was really not that high effort video in terms of amount of time I put into it relatively to other videos. Because with Flake parts, I could iterate and I could change and I could check stuff like in seconds, But with DeployRS, I would have to really spent several extra hours, several extra days just planning stuff out to make it also easy to understand and really working. Same like with impermanence, you know, even though I have access to virtual machines, still testing for impermanence video will take many hours to make it really end user friendly and easy to produce, you know. Have you tried the Ghost-TTY terminal? Yes, I have, but I feel like Kitty does just fine, so I'm sticking with Kitty. The two terminals that I have used the most were Alacrity and Kitty. So I have been using Alacrity previously, before Kitty, but I guess Kitty just has more features. When I tried to set up some kind of tab system in Alacrity, the two options that I had was Kitty, how do you call it, ZeliJ and the normal Tmax, and I just decided, yeah, I can probably just get my terminal to do that, and went with Kitty. And then I found out it also added this cool thing, so now I can have a jumpy cursor like in Neovide. That's pretty cool. Controversial take: home users have no business using impermanence precisely because testing would take you days. Honestly, home manager and home directory impermanence is really such a pain because really even like using it is quite difficult. Over the years, over several last months of using impermanence, I have found it to work really well for NixOS, for the system stuff, but for home, and specifically for home manager especially, oh, it's not that great, honestly. Yeah, it's not that great. Ghost-TTY wins over Kitty in only config simplicity. I have not actually checked what Ghost-TTY uses. Ghost-TTY config. What does it use for configuration? Does it use key value? Regular key value? Yeah, I guess it seems to be using regular key value pairs. But Kitty does too. Kitty just has way too many options. A lot of options. It's Toml? Wait, is it? Let me see. Oh, I guess it probably is Toml. Yeah, and Kitty, I guess, uses a semi-custom key value format, right? Honestly, everything should just switch to Toml at this point. Toml is such a nice format. And you know what? I just found out like several months ago that last year, somewhere in December, Toml started allowing multi-line sets. So like you can do this. Let me show you. Test.toml. So previously in Toml, something equals, you know how you do it in Rust or something. You have, I don't know, name equals whatever, right? I think this is valid Toml, right? I don't remember if you need a semicolon or not. Probably not. Yeah, you have commas here. So previously this was the only way you could do it, but now in Toml you can actually do this, and this will work. So now Toml is just my favorite format. I just love it. This is perfect. I have been waiting for this for years. Now, if I am writing some software and it needs some kind of configuration, I will definitely use Toml because this is just perfect. And I know that you could do something name like this. This is possible. I know that this is possible, but really this just, in some cases, this is, it just looks better. It just looks better sometimes, I think. Ghost-TTY has no hints, text labels that you can select with keycodes. Oh yeah? Oh wow, really? Oh, that is inconvenient. That is inconvenient. I guess it's because it's quite new, right? It will probably be added there. For me, PKL, YAML, Toml, although I don't really use PKL because no apps use it really. PKL, wait, what is PKL? I forgot. But yeah, I mean, like, when choosing these kinds of formats, you primarily go with something that is well supported, of course, because even with something like YAML, YAML still has to be compatible with JSON, right? Because JSON is so omnipresent, and YAML has to go and be compatible with JSON, which is a good thing for YAML, I guess. But YAML, in my opinion, yeah, it does way too much stuff, like the, what do you call it, the Norway problem or what? Yes, they are discussing hints have been for more than a year. Oh wow, so some bike shedding going on there, right? What's your opinion on Helix? Like I've said in the beginning, we have actually started this stream with Helix. So Helix is a very nice text editor. I have tried it. Many people think that I'm VimTuber, so I don't know what is Helix. No, guys, I know what is Helix. I have tried Helix. I am just not using it because what? Because there is no plugin support. Theme Groovebox. Here's my ideal Helix setup. If I was using Helix, I would do this. This would be my setup. I would be editing my NixConf like this. There it is. Here. You see, guys, I know how to use Helix. I know how to select stuff in Helix. I know that it has a very nice key binding for L, I think LH, or what? No. It isn't? Okay, I thought that going back and forth a line would be capital H, capital L. Maybe they have changed it. Okay, but whatever. Yeah, Helix is a very nice editor for those of you who just want a ready, complete, nice editor, Neovim-like, except without all of the hassle of configuring stuff. Helix is perfect. Yeah, Helix is a great editor. Plugin support in Helix coming. Yes, yes, I know. Every time we talk about Helix on Discord, it's like that. Yeah, plugin support is coming. It is coming, definitely. But, you know, guys, the only reason I'm not using it is because, like you all know, right now I am not working, I am just making videos all day long, and for making videos, I need my video plugins, I need my plugins that allow me to record audio, I need my plugins that allow me to make videos, and sadly without plugins this is impossible. I know that, you know, the primary Helix thing is that it is supposed to come with everything, like batteries included, and it is perfect. It is a really good philosophy because with Neovim you still don't get a lot of stuff out of the box. But with Helix you have all of it, right? So, pretty good. Except of course, sometimes there is some unconventional stuff that some people want to add with plugins. It will be like, you know, it will be impossible to just assume that an editor could have all the features that would be used by all users built in. You know, it's just unrealistic. There has to be some kind of plugin system at some point. Even VS Code understands it. So when Helix can do this, if we go here, so for example, we have a script. Here, let me try. Hello guys. Today we will discuss Neovim. And this is how I record videos. I click on a key binding. Hello guys, this is... Oh, or I already failed. Oh, sorry. Hello guys, today we will discuss Neovim. Hello guys, today we will discuss Neovim. And here I got 2 audio lines. I can choose whichever one I can play. I can play one of them, and then I go and create more paragraphs like this. And it's like part of my workflow. I'm not using Audacity, I'm not using any other audio editors. I am scripting, I am writing a script for a video and then recording it as I go, so for me this has to be in the editor, and no way Helix would be adding this because this is stupid, you know. Who needs this? Who needs this? Only I need it. But if you guys want it, you can grab it from my GitHub. It's in my wrap programs, Neovim, After, FT plugin, video script. You grab this and you have this functionality. Although it may not work because you need some extra dependencies like FFmpeg or whatever. Yay, first NVim video on the VimTuber channel. Oh yeah! We actually have 7 of them if you didn't know. We have 2 videos about Neovim and Oh, okay, yeah, but they are about Neovim, not Vim. We have 0 videos about Vim, in fact. Are you using Niri plus Noctalia? Yes, at the moment I am using Niri plus Noctalia. I have switched... Oh, sorry. I have switched to Niri because it was taking a lot less, mm, I mean, battery, right? How do you say it? It was not consuming my battery as fast on my laptop because when it was winter, you know, in Ukraine we had a lot of electricity outages. We didn't have electricity for several days. And for me, having a charged laptop was basically critical because I have to, I don't know, do something at home, right? On my laptop. Wi-Fi was also disappearing, all of that stuff. And Hyperland was just draining my computer like crazy. I would switch a tab and boom, like it jumped the wattage amount it eats. How do you call it in English? It just ate it really quickly. So Niri fixed that problem. With Niri, everything is smooth, fast, and most importantly, just as beautiful. There is a package in Nix packages called Helix, which is Helix but with the Steel plugin enabled. Oh wow, interesting. This is interesting. Wait, we can already like try it out? What is Helix? Helix. Okay, I'm not finding it. Whatever. I mean, they will probably add some plugin system at some point, and I'm not really rushing to switch my editor to Helix or whatever. But like I've always said, I'm open-minded, so if some cool editor comes and I can switch to it, I will switch because I'm not married to Neovim. Even though I like Vim and I like Neovim, you know, if something better comes out, why not try it? It's better to stay open-minded. So what do you use for battery saving on NixOS? Power Profiles Daemon, TLP, or anything else? Yeah, I have a power save. I have a power save module right here. This thing barely works for some reason. I don't know it. Oh yeah, this is, by the way, this is one of the last remaining custom option stuff on my system. I mean, not an option, it's just custom logic. Yeah, custom logic. I was going to say custom logic. This is one of the remaining custom logic pieces on my system, and it is supposed to synchronize my power profiles daemon to Luct. Luct, if you don't know, is the stuff that you can use to control your GPU on Linux. It's a really cool project, you guys should check it out. And so yeah, I have power profiles, I have thermal enabled, and power management. That's pretty much it. It gets me like almost all the way there. And for my computer, not my laptop, I use also this. It is a Luct service. Once again, Luct, the thing that you use for your GPU. And it can also significantly decrease the amount of power that your PC draws. But for laptop, this is enough, really. For me, it was more than enough. My laptop can survive like more than 10 hours easily, especially if I'm only using Neovim. Alright. So the stream has been going for 3 hours almost. Okay, so I guess in 5 hours we're probably gonna be finishing the stream because it is very long already. It is like 20 minutes longer than the previous one. Previous one was like what, 30 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes, right? Yeah. And I'm already tired. So if you guys have any questions that you want to be answered, 3 hours. Wait, 5 hours? Did I say 5 hours? I think I said 3 hours. Oh, okay, whatever. I don't know, my mind is already foggy after yapping for so much. But anyway, so if you guys have any last questions that you want answered before we finish the stream, and the next one is probably gonna be happening in I said 5 hours instead of 5 minutes. Oh yeah, we've been streaming for 5 hours for sure, yeah. You know, time can slow down when you are using Neovim. You are doing the thing that you love, and then you don't understand if it's faster or if it's slower, but usually it's slower, right? Whatever. Why don't you use Stylix? I don't use Stylix because I don't use Home Manager anymore, simple as that. If you want to know why I don't use Home Manager, you can skip to the beginning of the stream. I have explained it, though maybe not very well because I'm not very good at explaining stuff real time. When will be the next stream? So we had a second stream this year, and we had 2 streams last year, so it's only natural to assume that the next stream is coming next January, right? Okay, I'm just kidding. I don't know. You know, with the way the things are going, I could stream even tomorrow, or I could stream next week. I don't know. It all depends on how, if I have enough time, right? If I have enough spots in my day where nothing is not letting me to stream, whatever. Thanks for streaming, it was fun to listen to, and thank you guys for coming. This is really cool. I am happy that you guys enjoyed coming to the stream and listening. It's pretty insane that I can just start a stream and start talking for several hours and some people actually listen to what I have to say. This is very, very interesting, really. At this rate, we will get the next stream in like 2 or 3 months. maybe, yeah, because maybe we will start streaming slightly more. I don't know. We will see. Maybe the next stream will be announced on Discord. We will see, right? Do you prefer NVF or Nix-Vim? If we have to choose between NVM and Nix-Vim, I would say NVF, probably. But right now I am myself using wrapper modules, so Neovim, this wrapper module stuff. If you guys want to check it out, it's publicly available on my GitHub. And I will also probably make a video about it too. So NVF is perfectly fine, still, it's perfect, it's really good. But for quick iteration and for using more Lua stuff, I prefer using wrapper modules because it's like a spiritual successor of Nix-cats. So yeah, more Lua. You can choose how much Nix, how much Lua you have. Yeah, that's it. Okay, Blue Sky account. I don't have a Blue Sky account. I think I registered one some month ago. I also registered a Twitter account actually, but I have not used either of those because I just don't like these platforms. I usually just talk on Discord. So yeah, guys, if you want to continue talking, if you want to keep in touch, everyone on the stream, you can open Discord, you can ping me on Discord, just at VimJoyer any time of your day. Just come chat, whatever. I am always on Discord. If I'm not on Discord, it's probably vibrating in my pocket. So yeah, if you have any additional questions, if you want to chat, you can come on Discord. Do you intend trying streaming on Twitch at some point? Maybe, I don't know. I am not quite sure if there is really a big difference between the platforms, you know, because with these streams, I am really not trying to like maximize some profit or whatever. I just start a stream randomly to talk about stuff. But yeah, if you guys want to watch on Twitch, I guess I could also start it on Twitch. It's not very difficult to do. I remember I did it once, but I mean, I didn't stream, I just tried it out. Yeah, I just tried it out. But yeah, if you want to continue talking, come on Discord. And if you guys want to support the channel, of course, there's a Ko-fi link on the screen. Yeah, you can give it a try to, yeah, to support your favorite VimTuber. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so see you all on Discord. I'm ending the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You don't have to go and support, but if you want, if you just so happen to have any extra money you really don't want, you can go on Ko-fi or whatever. Yeah. Okay, so goodbye guys. See you on Discord.